My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and we are in the mode of Tech Thursday. Welcome. We're going to be tracking the news. A lot of things are happening in Baghdad. We'll be looking at all those factors involved in what's going on with Donald Trump, the coming impeachment trial as we see it in the Senate, and if we'll even see Nancy Pelosi deliver the impeachment directly to the Senate, or will she come up with new impeachment articles? Nancy Pelosi can do whatever she wants with the articles of impeachment. Prep wants to know what she can do. She can sit on them until she has enough articles of impeachment that she feels that they've got a compelling case. All right. There is a person who got hurt in the recent attack. I don't know. I can't get that right now. I have to go into my Twitter account to do it. I'm sorry, but it's been logged out. Yeah, we'll look at that in a little bit. Right now I'm processing information about Iraqi TV reports. Strike kills powerful Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander. Okay. Iraqi TV reports. That could be a fake news. It could be true news. We don't know because we don't know Iraqi TV. It's a pretty cool green screen, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I've been very impressed with this tie here. Let me get this tie here. This tie came from Scorched Earth, a company out of Australia. And look at the design. Isn't that cool? It's actually an Australian design, so proceeds from the tie go to the Australian Aborigines. I'm not a politician either, and Trump unfortunately doesn't understand the dynamic of the world. So you people that think that getting a person out there who is mentally deficient like Donald Trump, who's not a politician, is a good thing. It's not. He doesn't know what he's doing. I, however, know what I'm doing and how to deliver the solution for America. And we've got great solutions for America's problems, like the $500 a month universal basic income. I am not Andrew Yang, and I will double this amount if Andrew Yang wins the nomination. In fact, if Andrew Yang wins the Democratic nomination, I will 11 a month. But right now it's comfortably at $500 a month because our government can afford to spend this money on the American people. Okay? That's a big part of what this plan is all about, for getting people money so that we can fuel the economy and build the retail sector, which is falling apart under Donald Trump and Barack Obama. The retail sector has taken a huge hit this past year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Sears nearly closing up doors completely. Radio Shack closing up completely. I think they have a website. Toys R Us shutting down. These are all really big retailers that are shutting down. You cannot tell me the economy is doing really well. You just can't. And then we look at what Steve Mnuchin did, our Treasury Secretary, who looks like a babbling idiot as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't have a lot of respect of economists, by the way. Nobody thinks Steve Mnuchin can figure anything out. He can't explain why $1.5 trillion in $100 bills have disappeared. When he tries to explain $1.5 trillion bills disappeared, $100 bills disappeared, he says they're in banks all around the world. He doesn't know where they are. He says the reason why they want to hold dollars other people is because the U.S. is a safe place to have your money, to invest and to hold your assets. But there's a lot of Benjamins all over the world. Now more Benjamins than $1 bills. Look at this. U.S. $100 bills have doubled in circulation volume since the global financial crisis, overtaking the $1 bill. So that means that they're just printing up money to fund let's pretend the stock market. And everyone's going, oh, wow, the economy's doing so well. Oh, yeah. No, they're borrowing money to make it look good. Today, the stock market went up 330 points. This is exactly what they're planning on doing, is bringing people in, making it look really attractive. Everyone says, well, we should get into the stock market and keep investing, becoming bullish, and then all of a sudden getting completely taken down by the...
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
Yeah, by the BS coming at people. Yeah, the stock market's doing really great. Yeah. So we're not going to be able to look at that right now because that's just too much to handle. What do you have there, Max? And by the way, folks, we do have cameras, Max. So if you want to be on camera, we can do that now. Thanks to the kindness of one of our ops, we were very kind of gotten another month on iVlog. Yes, thank you. Unter Biden was not on the Biden Christmas card, but Dave made it. Oh, nice. Okay, we'll look at these links you're sending me right now. Then we'll get back to the situation at the Baghdad airport. Not really. No, as long as they keep borrowing money to make it look good, they're hurting our country. This is in no way a good thing. Now, that was not me at the family gathering. There is a BS story that I somehow went to the Biden family gathering and I'm somehow one of their lost children. No, that's photoshopped. That's not me. Hello? 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 Okay, we missed your call, but you can call back. Yeah, that's pretty funny, though, I got to tell you. We have one more, too? No, that was it. Okay, great. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I do kind of fit the look of the Biden family. And, as you know, Biden has not asked me to join him as his vice president, even though it would be the best thing he could do, because I come with 15 ideas that Donald Trump stole from me, which gives me a little bit of added clout among Republicans. And I am a strong gun rights supporter. But I don't think Biden wants a guy in the center of the political spectrum. He just wants some far left-wing person. I think Biden should choose Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah. Wouldn't that be a good combo? Since she's at 1% and he's at 26%. That's one way to do it. Hire me and then resign. Or Trump could choose me if he wanted to have a little bit nicer guy than Mike Pence, who looks like a board walking around like a stiff piece of pine wood. Yeah. I got to tell you, Mike Pence is the stiffest piece of pine wood I've ever seen. You know, I don't think you're allowed to say anything negative about white people or black people here or Hispanic people. So I'm going to urge you to not do that. Thank you. That's a good song. Nothing Breaks Like a Heart. Miley Cyrus. We'll play that late tonight. Yeah, I can't play it right now. We'd be monetized. Thank you, though. All right. No, I wouldn't sell out to Trump. I would be a person standing against Trump completely. He knows that. I've been very critical of Trump from the very beginning. I've never catered. The thing about choosing me, if they choose me as a VP either way, I would not be rubber stamping everything they say. I wouldn't be like Mike Pence, who just says whatever Trump tells him to say. I'd basically give him feedback, but I would try to realize that if the American people want to keep Trump in office, what can I do to stop that? But I can give him my 2 cents. That's the least I can do, but I can't control anything as a vice president. I would just be a person giving advice if they wanted it. Pence just stands there nodding. He's not really much of a person. He's a very hollow. He looks like a guy who went to church too many times because he committed so many sins he had to repent. Doesn't that seem like Pence? Mr. Repentance. He's Mr. Repentance. Do-do-do-do. Berlin, New Year's. Are we willing to do that? It's like a war zone in Germany. Let's see what happened on New Year's Day, or right around New Year's celebration in Germany. This is wow. These are people.
Straße, Ecke Emserstraße.
Das ist nicht richtig. Aber es ist nicht gut. Okay, we got problems in River City. These people obviously are... Look at these poor women trying to escape. What a great closer on that picture. Thank you for that info. You are Ich bin ein Berliner? Okay. You know, what I'm planning on doing is running for an office that you can't even find on the map. Yeah, it's a remote area of the country that I'm thinking of taking up residence in, because there's a senator that's leaving very soon. Yeah, I've actually thought of that for 2024. No, I have no German relatives that I know of. My family left Germany in 1100 AD in a lovely town called Sponheim. Yes. It is a beautiful town of the Burg Sponheim. If you've heard about it, congratulations. They have a wonderful church there. Absolutely beautiful. Here is the town of Sponheim in Germany. Yeah, and the wind is blowing very well there in the Sponheim town. And we have a castle there. Look at the castle we have. Isn't that great? Yeah, in the Burg Sponheim, we even have a little dungeon for you there. Sure thing. Yeah, we have all kinds of things in the castle there. Look at the bricks that my family built. Well, we left around 1100 AD, and we moved to Norway. My genetic material moved to Norway. And then we moved on from Norway to America. It's always the people that left that weren't happy with the people that were remaining there. So when we left our German ancestors back in Germany, we probably left a lot of people that were, not exactly the people that we were. So I consider myself the best of the best. Whenever my family moved, we were always moving up, if you know what I mean. And moving to America was a big boost for my family. And for your family too, and that's why all of us are very happy to be living here now. Cheers to all of you Americans. My family is older than the Queen's family, that's true. And a stronger history, and look at it, it's etched in stone. You can't deny the beauty of the stonework there. I know. Anyway, I don't want to make a big deal about it. I'm a 12th century. Actually, my family came over here in 1620s when the planter arrived. The one right after the Mayflower. Yeah, let me take a look here. Ships to America, the planter, 1635. It came over here. Yeah, the planter arrived in 1635. So that's when my family arrived here. So on my mother's side, I'm a 16th generation American. Yeah, look at that. I know. It was the one right after the Mayflower in 1620. So we weren't the first to arrive, we were the second wave to arrive. That's right. Okay, so we're done there. We're going to go back to the situation in Baghdad. Let's take a look at the facts as they lay out. I've got my beef enchilada dish cooking in the oven right now at 350. Let me see if I can get this up on another screen. Using incognito to avoid their barriers. There we go. Iraqi TV reportedly strike kills powerful Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander. The death of Major General Qasem Soleimani was reported in Iraq and Lebanese official media. The remains of a vehicle hit by missiles outside the Baghdad airport. So somebody said that the missiles didn't hit the Baghdad airport, yet it's on fire. I think we're probably dealing with, directed, targeted hits by U.S. forces. As you know, we use Iraq as our pincushion for our UAVs. Not something I'm proud of, but it's been a pincushion for years. In fact, there's still uranium all over that country from Iranian-tipped 50 caliber machine gun fire. Many people don't even know that happened. In fact, I don't even think the military is allowed to talk about it. But the terrible tragedy is Iraq lost nearly 1 million people during that war, and we're still involved in the war, ironically. Johnny Sacco says $500 a month is nothing. Well, Johnny, I can live in a tent for $500 a month on the roadside. And I've seen tents all along the area in Seattle where, you sometimes drive by, see people putting up tents, and the Department of Transportation comes down and takes them down all the time. No, I was more Sanford and Son. Yeah, that was more my speed. If I wanted to watch a sitcom, that's probably what I would enjoy. Although I didn't watch any sitcoms past All in the Family. I was so upset by the way Archie Bunker was racist toward all those people that I stopped watching sitcoms after he did that show. I watched a few All in the Families and I said, that guy's really racist, and I don't like racism. One thing I can't stand is racists. Okay, Joe Biden's doctor says that he's at a risk for a stroke. After the 77-year-old Biden released a letter claiming he's fit to be president. Well, I think everybody's at risk for a stroke. He says he's not a healthy guy, but he's fit to be president. Okay. Well, that would be true with Bernie Sanders, who just had a heart attack. So what are we talking about? And God knows you don't want to find out about Donald Trump's cholesterol level. Even after a designer drug, he's still over his normal levels. Dr. Shiner treated Obama for 22 years, spoke out over Joe Biden. He said, doctor's note reveals he's not a healthy guy. Risk for a stroke. He said results from an MRI or a CT scan should have been included. Well, he did have 3 aneurysms prior to becoming vice president, so he made it through 8 years of Obama going, well, let's be clear. Could you advance a teleprompter? I mean, how you can't be weak in the last 8 years with a guy like that who's an open homosexual married to a transgender standing next to you and you can't say a word. I mean, surely Joe Biden wanted to say, hey, Michelle, you don't want to show your penis to everybody, and, get something a little bit more appropriate for your attire. I don't play the Japanese yodelers, but if you want to give me a link, I'll take a look at it. You loved All in the Family? You still watch Archie Bunker and the racist acts that he has committed? Edith! And Meathead. I mean, these people, unbelievable. So you really endorse racism, huh? You're a big racist supporter? Well, I guess we've got a lot of supporters, racist supporters in our show who like Donald Trump. We don't support racism here. The only reason why I did a blackface video was to impersonate Barack Obama because I couldn't have done it in whiteface and make fun of him because he clearly was a New World Order suck-up president. And I think I'm very proud of the fact that I even came back and did a 2014 blackface too. Remember that? Edith, get me a beer. Okay, look at this guy. Me, David Sponheim, impersonating Barack Obama, smoking a doobie like Barack Obama does. I've never smoked crack like he does. Now, I understand Barack Obama's still smoking crack. I got a guy in a room the other night said he was up in Martha's Vineyard at a party at the Obamas, and Obama was hitting the crack pipe. That's what he said. I'm just saying what he said, But I was making fun of this New World Order puppet president, corporate pig that he was. And I was trying to impersonate him, and everyone thought, gee, Dave, that's really racist. Not at all. I've never been racist toward anybody. I've been a victim of racism. Yeah, it's true. Hey, tonight's technology. And I got good news for you. I really do. Scientists have found a cheaper way of making hydrogen energy out of water. That's right. We have discovered that when we use iron and nickel as opposed to rare earth elements, we're able to get the same effect in hydrolysis. And they can actually create hydrogen. Hydrogen-powered cars may soon become more than just a novelty after a UNSW-led team of scientists demonstrated a much cheaper and sustainable way to create hydrogen required to power them. Yeah, so they're using iron and nickel as catalysts as opposed to high-cost elements like platinum, iridium, ruthenium. And this is a major deal because it's going to kind of revolutionize the production of liquid hydrogen. And I have always said liquid hydrogen is the future. It's zero carbon, no carbon footprint. Yet people who are Democrats are running around now trying to stop people from buying hybrid cars. Yeah, Sarah and I were out paying our DMV fees for the year, and we had to pay two $145 charges for our vehicles. Can you imagine? The Democrats in our area are gouging us because we have a hybrid or two hybrids. We're being punished by the Democrats for buying cars that are efficient. And I actually gave the lady an argument on the phone. I said, why are you, obviously she can't do anything about it, but I said, why are you charging so much? Why don't you cut the spending of the Democrats' budget? She kept saying, well, how else are you going to pay for it? We have to charge because we're losing money on the cost of fuel. Because our vehicles get 40, 50 miles per gallon. Well, people drive more when they have hybrids. And there isn't that big of a fuel difference, but man, they're gouging everybody in California, Oregon, Washington. I guess I should be lucky. We're only paying $75 more per ticket, $150 total per. When in California, it's even more. It's $100 per car. It's ridiculous. They're penalizing people who are driving very efficient cars. The Democrats are spiting themselves. Their own people are getting billed. And plus, they're banning e-vaporizer cigarettes, fruity vapes. A lot of people feel that that's one way to save money, and now they can't because they can't get their fruity vaporizer to use. So they're going back to cigarettes. So the Democrats want people to smoke cigarettes too and die of lung cancer. Yeah. Yes, you're trying to fly under the name of Trumptardo because that's what I've called people. I think that's perfectly fine, and I don't want you to, really hate the show because even though my ideas were stolen by Trump, I mean, you must like my ideas. Seriously. Hi, Sarah. Trump would never offer a $500 a month plan, though. That's not something. Andrew Yang stole this idea and doubled it. Yeah, we know about the drones flying over Colorado at night. It turns out that the government's testing drones for immediate attack against terrorist attacks. That's a government operation. Yeah, I know it's kind of disturbing for you, but don't worry about it. We already clarified what was happening. Sarah's zipped up and ready for the 50-degree room we have. What is the temperature? 55 degrees. Wow. 55 degrees, all set to go. Okay, Sarah's going to give me a little break while I check the drone story out. And I've got just 11 more minutes before the oven's done and the enchiladas are cooked. So we'll be good with that. It's a little cold in here.
I don't know. What gave you that idea?
Let me take a look at what they're dealing with in Colorado. It's creepy, unexplained drones swarming over the Colorado landscape at night. People don't know what's going on. Sheriffs in western Nebraska and eastern Colorado say they don't know who's flying the drones or why, and the FAA is investigating. Yeah, they're big too. They're really big. We have fairly good confirmation. Let me see if I can pull it up from our archives. Okay, so yes, I was telling people we paid our reg fees today and on our two hybrids, and that's at like $320 or so, or almost $300 actually. Let me see if I can pull up that other story that might answer the question. Okay, this is according to Jacques, who's the guy who comes in here, Medveral. He claims that these are NSA Pentagon drones, and he claims it's a test for block-by-block search to hunt for terrorists. And don't worry about shooting them unless you have an AA-12. We would never do that. They do shoot back. Okay, it's more efficient than cop patrol cars, he says. No land obstacles, limitations, instant monitoring of square miles, expendables, cost a lot less than regular helicopters, and far too much targets to shoot them all down. And no Wi-Fi can be jammed. Okay. It's based on Terminator, can't make the robot yet, but the flying drone things they can. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Meow. Let's click this with our caution in mind. Hang on. Yeah, I've seen that live leak before, Fat Dog. It's not a big deal. It's not appropriate right now. I'll play something similar later. But yeah, we've seen that photograph before. We're not the only ones who've seen it. Okay, and then we're going to open up the YouTube chat. You can close out of that. Anyone who claims that that Biden's not healthy hasn't checked Donald Trump out completely. Biden is as healthy as Donald Trump. That's my take on that. And he's definitely as healthy as Bernie Sanders, who just had a heart attack. So claiming that Biden can't cut it is ridiculous. It's 78 in your apartment? Wow, lucky you.
He lives in an apartment, and he says all the old ladies all around him are cold, so they all run their heater. And so he doesn't even have to run his heater. It gets so warm in his apartment. He just, sometimes he has to open the window because it's so hot in his apartment. He never runs a heater. He just
piggybacks on theirs.
On the heater of all the older women around him.
Wow, that's amazing.
I guess women tend to get colder than men.
Yeah, and they should stay warm. Women should stay warm. Welcome, Hog Slammer. And One Sec Patriot says, Dave, as POTUS, what will you do to protect straight men from the transgender menace? Yeah, you drove across 2 states to meet a woman you met online, and it turned out to be a transgender male to female. Wow.
How do you know? Like,
Well, he found out when he got there. I mean, obviously they were, I will do everything I can to prevent this type of sexual harassment online by
how do you know?
transgenders. So-
Like,
well, he found out when he got. That was
like
serious.
what the ish like. Never mind.
We're not going to talk about Irish people or German people tonight. I mean, we just showed you German people that were partying like it was 1999, but 2019, and they were using guns and firing into the air. It was mayhem in Germany, and I was like, whoa! I'm glad I didn't celebrate New Year's there. People were firing rounds in the air, bullets straight up in the air.
Where was that?
It was in Germany. It was unbelievable. Cool. You know, I respected Metanemesis so much because he went on cam when we first got to know each other, and I made him a mod on our show because he's been such a great guy and such a stable supporter of our show. And same with Shelly. Shelly, you've been a regular person too. Okay, I'm going to go get the enchiladas in about 5 minutes, but get everything else. I'm going to make another vegetable too.
Give me a thumbs up or something if you want to go and if you want to speak, Shelly. She's drinking her soda.
Okay, cool.
Coca-Cola.
Thank you.
All right. Donnie Wahlberg left a $2,020 tip for an IHOP server on New Year's Day. Wow. David doesn't dislike you. He likes you too. Maxed out credit. Can I play a chicken attack? No. I'm sorry. What are you talking about, Trentardo? I don't understand. We are lucky Dave never operate. Well, unmute Shelly so she can talk if she wants, and then I'll go here and I'll just have to. Isn't that, what is that? Friends? Chatters. Maxed out credit. Super op. Whatever that means. There, now Sarah super operated you. Yeah, don't celebrate New Year's with guns. I know, that's not smart. Exactly. No, it's too much. Ah! Well, now you'd have to ask David to undo that. Welcome, JB20181. Kansas punishes people that use electric cars. That's not just Kansas. It's pretty much everywhere in the country. I think they've done that across the board. They've decided, oh, well, we normally get taxes when you go and buy gas, then we tax the gasoline, and we use that money to pay for the roads. And since you're not buying as much gasoline because you're in a hybrid vehicle, we're going to add more money to your registration fees. The money that we would have gotten if you bought the normal amount of gas. And so, there you go. That happened here. David and I just went and had to pay that. I know. Well, that's how David feels too, Hog Slammer. Preparation H is sad. Interesting, Medpro. Your dog's dying. The vet said all she could do for your dog is put her to sleep. She suffered from her stroke. You had her for 15 years. I'm sorry to hear that, Preparation H. And you're keeping her at home to let her have a natural death. I do think they will create the need for plates and registration for electric bikes. Absolutely. Actually, the who is it? The Governor Cuomo kind of said it best that they are. You can think of them as scooters, or what did he call them? Basically, like mopeds are already regulated. They're just electric, so. Not half, Trumptardo. Let's do the whole thing. No, Google, I'm not. You're in DC in 2018? It's not technically a state, but okay, nice district. I was in DC just last summer. It was okay. Very, very crowded and busy. In Quebec, they limited the wattage to 500 watts so people can't use their electric vehicles to travel farther. That's just so crazy. Are you talking about Iraq? Medveral, I take it that's what you're talking about? Yeah, I know. Well, that's how they're getting around the gas tax revenue here in the US, is adding an extra tax, I guess it is. They're calling it an electrification fee on registration of hybrid vehicles. So ours is like I see. Yeah, you're right that they will try to. You're right. First they gave a tax credit for dual energy, and then they reduced it. Now they're taxing hybrids. Oh. How so, Hog Slammer? I don't really see that happening. Sorry you guys keep losing your connection. Hello, McNeat86. Yeah, solar panels are getting cheaper. Wind panels are getting cheaper. That's true. They put $50 million worth of LEDs on one of the bridges. Wow. That's true. It rains a lot here, but that means a lot of wind. Hog Slammer is over on iVlog, Planet Fitness. That's where he's watching. Sorry, I was saying I muted myself because Google gave me that YouTube video and I had to preview it without the sound on. Sorry. I muted myself. Then I was talking and I didn't, and so let me repeat everything I said. I said, hey, Hog Slammer over at iVlog, Planet Fitness over at Vaughn Live says he likes you and wants you to go over to Vaughn Live because he's banned at iVlog. And then I asked you, Planet Fitness, how did you get muted? How did you get banned from iVlog? And then that's pretty much it. Then you guys that told me the sound is dead. So now I'm it. I try to mute myself when I have to do that too, Med for All. Hog Slammer's back. All right, let me I'll unmute you. You're unmuted so people can hear you, but now add your source. I think you should just say it iVlog so we can see you. All right. Screen selection. You're unmuted so people can hear you, but now add your source. There's Hog Slammer with his giant cat. My goodness. I think your cat is at least twice as big as Amber. By the way,
Yeah,
did
I've
Dave...
been doing the oat grass. That's for sure.
Giant cats. My goodness. I think your cat is at least twice as big as Amber. By the way, did Dave... And he's growing organic catnip. Pretty cool.
Oh God, sorry about that.
That's all good.
I lost my thing here. Okay.
And he's growing organic catnip. Pretty cool.
Got him on a kitty diet. He gets 14 pieces of kitty food once an hour from 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. I'm hoping that will help him lose weight without him licking the carpet because he's so hungry.
Oh, poor cat. Oh.
Because he's only supposed to be 10 pounds and he weighs in at 20. So.
He's supposed to be 10 pounds and he weighs in at 20 pounds? My goodness, that's a big, big cat. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to remove it. I'm going to add both people now.
Yep.
My goodness, that's a big, big cat.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to remove it. I'm going to add both people now. Oops. Let me try that again. Amber, I haven't weighed Amber. I don't know how much she weighs. We did get Amber a gift today. You guys can ask David about it and he'll tell you all about it when he gets back. Amber, I haven't weighed Amber. I don't know how much she weighs. We've got Maxed Out Credit and Hog Slammer and his organic catnip gains. Yeah. I could be like you, Maxed Out Credit. I could add a hoodie too. Your dog stopped eating, because of his, I'm so sorry. Preparation H's dog is sick and dying probably. So sad. Your dog stopped eating, because of his, I'm so sorry. Preparation H's dog is sick and... Oh. I had to move that over. What the heck is that? That's so weird.
What is?
I don't have enough.
Some
room in my
picture
heart to
that
put a
somebody
phone
sent me
Of what?
that
Sure,
I'm
Bob.
not showing on the screen. What is that? That's so weird.
You know, I don't think that's even relevant. It's just
It's
too
not.
weird.
That's why I didn't show it on the screen.
I know, it is weird. You're right. Thank you.
Oh, goodness.
I know.
You
Isn't amazing?
Okay, I know. You're trying to get cold. Trying to get cold. That's funny. No, we will. David and I will not consider selling colloidal silver or other products like Alex Jones does. I definitely would not want to be Alex Jones and face the litigation he's facing right now. I'm going to mute Hog Slammer because I keep getting feedback. He'll let me know. I unmuted Maxed Out Credit so he can talk if he wants. He's trying to get cold, he says. You could send Amber treats, but Amber doesn't normally eat anything. There. I'll mute you too because I'm getting feedback. But you guys can let me know if you want to talk. And then I'll mute you. I'll unmute you then. If you're trying to get cold, the recommendation over at Von Live Maxed Out Credit is take everything off rather than put everything on and get it tighter. It's going well, Zenu. How are you today? Who is David? David's the guy that just came in just a second ago, Darkord, and said what? And he is running for president of the United States. My name's Sarah, and these are a couple people that are watching us over on iVlog. We are also watching, we're also watching the chat over on Von Live. David is David Sponheim, presidential candidate in the U.S. under America's Third Party. No, Bax is a good guy. I would agree with you. I want you to first focus your mind. You have to have every thought as a reality and focus on the fact that you are going to be meeting women in your future. That you have to envision yourself meeting the right woman and envision yourself with the right, well, unless you're into guys, I don't know what you're into. You have to envision yourself living the life that you want to live. And you need to appreciate the things that you already have. Like you can talk to Sarah virtually. That's a really good idea. I mean, that's something to be thankful for at least. No, you can't send Amber a mouse. What are you showing us, Maxed Out Credit? How so, Soul Child? He's never been that way before. Oh, you're showing us the temperature. 74.7 degrees. Ooh. Warm. He was showing us his temperature readout. I think that's what he was showing us. His temperature readout in the room. Yeah, that's what he was, now that I see it, that's what he was showing us, his thermometer or something like that. I know you're not a parody account nor a troll. Soul Child. Like Big Bird, Xenu? I liked Big Bird. Sarah, has anyone ever told you you look like a bird? I don't think so. Is that a good thing in your mind, or is that a bad thing? Oh. Well, I've had accounts like that where I had to actually send them in. Oh, you like someone that looks like a bird. Okay, thank you then. Thanks. It's all about layers, yes. Good preparation H. Make sure your dog has like a heating pad maybe. Warmth would be important. I would like to, yeah, maybe a, think about what they say for little, sorry, I was laughing at maxed out credit. They say for when you bring a puppy home, they say to put like a ticking clock of some kind so that they can think of it's the heartbeat of their mom, and a warm water bottle. But if you can't do a warm water bottle, some kind of like heated blanket or a warm water bottle and a something warm and soft to lay on. That would be good for your dog. Sorry to hear that, Soul Child. Hello, my cat credit. My cat Fluffy. Sorry, maxed out credit, my cat Fluffy. You remind me now, maxed out credit, of shiny puffy coat. That's a really cool skiing hat you have. Yes, I believe she does, Xenu. I believe my mom will play RuneScape until... I haven't talked to her about RuneScape because I don't play, so sometimes she talks to me about it. But I believe she does play still, sporadically. Well, she is probably still one of the top players. She's one of the longest running players. I mean, she's been playing RuneScape for at least a decade, I think. I think so. No, I don't think she's ever been to RuneFest, but she probably would enjoy that. Okay, so nearly 2 decades then. I was thinking, I was not wrong. I said at least a decade. And so I'm right that she's probably, actually, you're right now, she's probably played since, she definitely has played since, well, I don't know about 99, but maybe. Definitely 2000, because she started playing when either right before I moved up here or right, no, she probably did start playing in 99, because I moved up here in 99. I already have central heating. And yeah, I'm sure she did play classic RuneScape, and now she plays RuneScape. How was my mom's Christmas? Good. I didn't know what to send her. Maybe I should send her. I didn't. Maybe I should send her an Amazon gift card. I don't know what to do. I did call her. Alright, if you say so. 894. I don't really know her username, and if I did, I'm sorry, Xenu. I would not tell you. Because I had a Facebook, account, which I still have, which I friended people on either this chat room or back in Blog TV days. And that Facebook account, I had my family on there, but I actually removed all my family because trolls then tried to friend my family.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna have you go try to friend my mom on RuneScape.
You wouldn't know her handle anyway.
I know. That's what I told him.
I know.
What was my nickname when I was a kid? My name is so short, I didn't have a nickname. Sarah, I mean, like, how short can you get? There's Hog Slammer and Maxed Out Credit.
Hey, Hog Slammer, long time, man.
Here, I'll move you guys in front of me.
You're doing pretty well, yeah. So, Sarah, I made enchilada for you, beef enchilada. Enjoy. Have as much
Okay.
as you want.
Sounds good.
He's got organic catnip
Growing.
That's pretty cool. Catnip really messes with cats' minds. I don't know. It's kind of dangerous.
Actually, I do have something to say about my nickname.
Oh, what was that?
My mom, because there was a lot of us children, she buddied us up. So I'm the third oldest, so I got a buddy. Anyway, the buddy was a baby. I think her first name, and I was like talking to her. I'm like, so I'm your buddy. I'm going to take really good care of you. Whenever we go out, I'm going to be your buddy and always hang out with me. And I think she started saying buddy as one of her first words. Maybe, I don't know. But
This is your relative?
yeah, this is my sister.
Oh, I know. I know the story, yeah.
And then I got really embarrassed when I later, like, it must have been, that was when I was in third grade, I said that. And then I was in, like, high school. So, like, 6 years later, she still called me Buddy. That was her name.
She does, yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Buddy. I think she still says that sometimes. She sees
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I've had people try to, like, when I was doing business in this area, I had people trying to use nicknames on Sarah. I didn't really know
really?
that. Like, the one realtor guy kept calling you Slick, and I didn't know what that was about. It's like,
I wouldn't even respond if they did.
I know. It's like, hey, Slick. It's like, how do you call a woman that? I mean, what's wrong with you, man? Of course, he died, so.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. But then
Yeah.
so I told my sister, I'm like, this is how you say my name. Do you know Sarah, like a cheerleader? Sarah.
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 Sarah. That's how you say
She
my
finally
name.
learned how to talk. That's great.
Well, she knew how to talk,
I
but
know. I'm just kidding.
Buddy.
Buddy, you're here, buddy. So you were her buddy her whole youth, and she knew you as buddy, not your sister. You know,
Not Sarah,
not
just
Sarah, my
Buddy.
sister. It's my buddy.
Hey,
That's pretty
Buddy.
And yeah, help yourself to all the vegetables that you want, and you're as much.
Pretty good nickname, Buddy.
It is a pretty good nickname, buddy. I've heard people call dogs buddy. You know, no, not that I'm calling you a dog. No, but here, buddy, here, buddy. Pentagon says Trump directed assassination of Iran's Quds Force chief Soleimani to deter future Iranian attacks. You know, this sounds like something out of the Mossad, the ISIS, the art room. You know. Okay, I must have said something that disturbed them. Go ahead. Hello. Oh.
Call from 19.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Yes, what's your question? You're on with me. Oh, yeah. You know, what really blows my mind is these people put their actual voices on our phone machine. And the technology is so advanced now that it actually picks up the audio from their voice. And it creates a blueprint no different than your fingerprint. It creates the skeletal outline of your audio sounds, which is unique to you among all the people in the world. And you don't realize that the NSA can listen to your voice on any phone call you may have anywhere in the world and find exactly where you are when you threaten my life. Enjoy. You'll be expecting some men with black suits someday, and you'll wonder why they arrived, and your mom will be going, "Honey, come on out of the basement. I'm missing a 20 out of my purse, and there's some guys in a black outfit asking about you." That'll be your mom, and she'll be like 80, and you'll be like 62, wondering why your life is so deteriorated to that level. I hear Max and Hogslammer, they're living healthy. These guys are working out every day. They are. Look at Hogslammer. He's working out every day with his eyeballs. Look at you, man.
I hear Max and Hogslammer, they're living healthy. These guys are working out every day.
So and Max, look at Max. He's got an exercise program too.
Look at you.
Yeah, Max has got an exercise program. You're both on track, man. You're both living the good life. And I think that you're doing better than Joe Biden, because he can barely even walk without, stammering and wondering what the heck's going on. I know. Yeah, I hear you. And, they kept their names all these years. Look at that. Your workout schedule. Max has got multiple things he's doing. That is motivation. And look at you drink your fresh, purified water. Look at you, dude. That's right. That's how to stay young. And don't forget your fruit enzyme spray. Even if you don't have my fruit enzyme miracle formula, you could at least put some fresh, purified water in there and spray your face. Rehydrate those pores. Exactly. David, why did you mention the $20 thing? I was the one that told you that I steal $20 out of my mom's purse. I know, Zeno, you're not the only one who does that. That's a common expression. People talk about crackheads and Steel Reserve addicts like you do that. You're not the only Steel Reserve addict in the world, Zeno. He goes to his AA meetings higher than a kite on booze, and they wonder, it's like, dude, don't come here with a Steel Reserve in a brown bag. That's not appropriate. And he's like sitting there with his brown bag and, I'm going to the AA meeting. Your mom knows those 20s are missing and knows full well that you took them. She just forgives you for your meth addiction. You couldn't help it. Just say no to meth. Okay, President Trump is currently scheduled to remain at Mar-a-Lago through the weekend. He just took out an entire force over in Baghdad. He's going to continue to play golf. That's just the kind of hairpin he is. That's exactly why the Democrats are impeaching him. They don't want a guy who's so completely unattached and disengaged in the war in Afghanistan or Iraq. Remember what General McChrystal said about Barack Obama? He was disengaged from the war in Iraq, or the war in Afghanistan, sorry. And it cost General McChrystal his life, pretty much. Or no, not his life, his job. He's still alive. Thank you. Dow Jones had a bumper day. Apparently when Steve Mnuchin decided to, somehow pull $1.5 trillion out of our future assets, we now think our stock market's doing great. So everybody's very bullish. It's amazing how they were able to control this. Isn't it amazing? Up 330 points. Up and away in my beautiful fake Dow Jones average today. Yeah, so if you're bullish and you're going to keep going in with the market, be aware that these are exactly the same times that preceded the big fall in 1929. And here we are in the roaring 20s now. I'm going to pick a text for the 20s. 2020. 2020. I'm going to pick a random text, see where I land. Ooh, creepy girl. This is the weirdest one of all. Yeah, that's creepy girl. That's kind of weird. 2020. I got to get rid of that. I can't do creepy girl on this one. Crack Johnny? That's even worse. Don't they have anything for meth heads? Not that I am one, because I'm not. You meth heads need some 2020 to look really cool. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Hey, yeah. Are you in town too? You'll be paying more in taxes for your mom's 20s? No. Big Pharma continues New Year's tradition of squeezing U.S. sick for every last dime. Thank you. The supporters all look the same. I think the fact that people are really taking care of themselves, like Max and Hogslammer, is really admirable. You know, Hogslammer had some back pain, and he put together a CBD oil blend for himself. I don't know if he rubs it on or he eats it, but he's getting results from that. CBD oil is becoming very, very much of a positive, beneficial thing for people. The cannabis is a big factor. Yeah, cannabis is a big factor. The fact that they're allowing hemp to be used and grown, we're making really high quality CBD, 100 micrograms per unit, 200 micrograms. My sister gave me a Christmas present of CBD oil that she thought you could consume, but it says do not eat on the back. But it's perfect for skin related issues, if you're having skin problems. Hey, look at those pens. Those are nice. Yeah, apparently you could have like skin disorders. 90% of skin cancers are addressed by the problem is addressed by CBD oil. 90% skin cancer. That's not to say that you don't need to see a doctor. That's just to say that if you have preventative means, why not use them, right? And the American people are self-medicating in mass. But that's right. Look at that. You got EpiPens or pens or... Oh, you got CBD oil vacuoles. Look at you. You got all kinds of CBD oil. Wow, look at you. He's using CBD oil. Now, Max got over a major stroke where he died for 18 minutes. I know that sounds bizarre, but yeah. The guy on the far left of the screen had passed away for 18 minutes, and they revived him, and he's back, and he's getting an exercise plan. So if you've reached a point where you've said, uh-oh, my type A personality got me here, I'm going to have to change my ways, you got a second chance, and thank God for that. There are no deleterious effects from CBD oil. There's virtually hardly any THC in it. Hemp has less than 1% THC, so it won't get worse for you. But it turns out that THC working with CBD oil sometimes helps topically. But if you do light that THC up, that's when it makes you high. If it's not lit up, if there's no heat attached to the THC, it actually won't even get you high. It's medicinal. Yeah, so Big Pharma continues New Year's tradition of squeezing U.S. sick for every last dime. Thanks, Hogslammer. Pharmaceutical giants celebrating the dawn of 2020 in the best way they know how, jacking up the prices of drugs for people in the U.S. that need them. According to a report by Reuters, researchers and analysts at 3-Axis Advisors show the firms included Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, Sanofi, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Gilead Sciences, and Biogen have collectively raised U.S. prices on 250 drugs since the ball dropped on New Year's Eve. The median price increase is around 5%, while few of the drugs had price increases of 10%. A few of them had 10% or more. You know, when a time when we are running out of money and the American taxpayer is milked to the utmost and people can barely get by on their Social Security checks, this is a crime against the people of this country. Truly. Max pays through the nose to stay alive. I'm sure you're paying a couple $100 a month minimum. Many of you people who have have diabetes are facing huge problems with insulin costs. I know people that are reaching the point where they don't even know what to do. The cost of medicine has pushed them to the edge. but not that bad. In 2 days, you pay $2,600 a month? Okay, this just in from Max. He pays $2,600 a month for his medications, folks. Yes, there is a way to get away from the big pharma complex. Thank you, Guest 9555, for coming up with that question. Yeah, for sure. There's an idea we came up with, very simple. One of our hybrid capitalist solutions, and we wrote a book about hybrid capitalism called Hybrid Capitalism. It's on our website. It's a 99-cent Kindle download, or you can buy a copy. It's a real simple read, really. It's not that complicated, but it's really, simplicity is the key to enduring programs that will help the country. And in that book, we talk about a generic medication. Yes, generic medicine is the way to go. And I would partner up with some generic manufacturers and work a 50-50 deal and open up a generic U.S.-based corporate alliance to create generic medicine at under $30 for 30 pills. That's what we're shooting for. No more than $1 a pill. Wouldn't that be great? Natural meds are good. I endorse holistic solutions as well. Absolutely. You know, one of the best things you can do if you are suffering from the conditions of heart disease that are leading to problems in your life, a couple people are using herbal remedies. Red yeast is kind of like Lipitor. It'll lower your cholesterol. Red yeast, rice yeast. That's one thing people do. That's lower cost than a Lipitor or the drug that Donald Trump is on for cholesterol. Another thing is eating right. That's really important. And you could go on the Dr. Dean Ornish diet, which lowered actually heart disease by 18% according to his studies. And Dean Ornish is a doctor out of San Francisco who's been very successful in helping people, especially men who are pre-cardio problems, getting a better diet. And it almost completely eliminates meat entirely. I think they just have some, lean meats at best. But you got your meter there showing your temperature and everything. Wow. Your CO2 meter. Nice. Good for you. Well, generic medicine should be affordable. And we plan on delivering these things in our mobile medical units. Wow, you got some great plants growing. I love the organic catnip you're growing. It's kind of cool, your lifestyle, Hog Slammer. Your CO2's measured. Look at that. You're doing it the right way. Well, mobile medical units and rapid response units could be brought out there to any area in the country, and we could provide healthcare solutions at low cost to everybody. The problem with the Democrats is they continue to ignore the rising cost of healthcare, and now they're just sitting back, and Trump is too, when watching the big pharma industry raise prices 5 to 10 or 15%. Whereas I would come up with an alternative that would not compete with big pharma per se, because a lot of people don't even want to pay that money that big pharma wants. Most people don't have $2,600 like Max is putting out to stay alive. They don't. And they'll just say, honey, we can't afford the $180 medicine this month. Seriously. They only get a little bit of money to live on, these people on Social Security. So this generic medicine will also be sold in the back of the units. Behind, in the back, we're going to have actually a pharmacy with a Pillomatic stationed in the back. Yeah. In fact, when I legalize marijuana, which I will be doing across the nation as one of my primary goals, we'll be offering a CBD as well as THC, 1 gram to 3.5 gram containers. Basically, you can get up to an eighth of marijuana. Now, people are endorsing marijuana. 68% of the country want legalized marijuana. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger says that is not a drug, it's a leaf. And we have to accept the fact that many people who support this, being the largest number, 68%, and maybe even more in the younger categories, they support legalized marijuana as well. And we'll be selling the marijuana in the back of these units right with the generic medicine. Simple idea, simple plan. Nobody's ever died or overdosed from marijuana that I know of. Maybe somebody got involved with some like really toxic levels, and maybe put it near somebody close, like young, might be in danger. So if you have to wait till 21 to do this, but yeah, that would help pay for the medical costs, reduce the cost of the healthcare system that we're projecting. And this way the government makes a return on investment and lowers the cost of government for the taxpayer. So it's all a tight little ship there, and we can deliver medicine in many areas across the country. Say LA will have 10 of these units to start with, Chicago 10, Miami 10, New York City 10. The rest of them will be spread out across the country in every city. Some will have 2 or 3. But that's the initial number of 200 units I want to build for a total of $1 billion. $5 million a unit. Kenworth Trucking could get involved. We could contract Patrick Metal to build some of the larger slide outs. Big company that needs work, Patrick Metal out there in South Bend, Indiana. Not that I want to help Pete Buttigieg's hometown, but I want to help the people of that hometown. I want more jobs for Americans, and building these will lead to money for the American people and work. It all works out. That's great. You're measuring your CO2 around your catnip plants. That's awesome. So your dad was a pharmacist. He died experimenting with expired drugs. It shrunk his head 2/3 in size in 4 weeks. Wow. So Buck Jig is going to run for Senate as well. Oh, good for him. That's amazing, Max. Yeah, so don't self-medicate with expired drugs, folks. It's very dangerous. That really makes me think. Yeah, if your dad was a pharmacist, he self-medicated with expired drugs. Yeah, he had 2/3 the size of his brain in 4 weeks. So it must have been very painful for him to lose his brain mass. I'm so sorry. Yeah, poor guy has his shrinking brain syndrome. Anyway, this is a tight package. The Democrats don't have anything like this, which will deliver medicine to people in need in a very timely manner without having to take away from the private healthcare system. And like I said, people who have a thank you. A plan of action they'll get a diet plan, a way to save sugar or lowers their sugar if they're pre-diabetic, lower their cholesterol if they're pre-cardio problems. And all of that will be coming with a general copay of $30 to visit the clinic. So instead of $150 like we're billing Medicaid right now for every visit, these units will get about $30 per person, but will meet the needs of a lot more people rather rapidly. And one of the things we want to do is put chairs out in front of these units. Every unit will have a tent over them so that you'll be able to actually access the an area that will be protected from any of the elements. So even in a snowy area, we'll have a tent constructed over it. You know, one of these big tarpaulin tents that go over a large area. And then we'll put seats in the middle here. We could even put an LCD TV on the side of this, like a 60-inch ULED rather, a ULED TV. So you'll be able to watch maybe my recipes, how to make healthy food for less. In the back, you'll have the seating area. In the front, you'll be able to pick a ticket. And when you pick your ticket, we'll actually be able to put your finger in there. And if it reads low oxygenation, your ticket won't matter. You'll go right to the front of the line. If you have a certain oxygenation level in your bloodstream, that means immediate care. So nobody will be waiting in line, or if your temperature spikes above 101, it'll check your temperature and your blood oxygenation level. Isn't that great? So you'll put one finger in one and one finger in the other, and then you'll take a ticket. And the ticket will give you your time at which you can go up to the clinic and have a telemedicine encounter with a doctor if they see fit. It'll be staffed with EMTs, 5 trained EMTs, and 1 security guard who will be armed. So all of this is part of a big, huge plan that I've got to give local healthcare a facelift, lowering the cost immensely across the country, making it much more reasonable for everybody to have healthcare. And this is coupled with a public option that I'm promoting as well. This technology is completely doable. These trucks are already pre-built. This is particular a truck, for example, is a mobile medical unit out of Minnesota. This is a Mayo Clinic unit. But a lot of them have plans to build these already, so we just have to ramp that up. And in them, we would have portable x-ray systems, blood checking systems for basic blood work. We would also have a portable ultrasound. So if you had like a serious tumor growing in your body, we could probably ultrasound you for next to nothing and find out rather quickly, then getting you an immediate pass to the doctor. And the best part about this plan of mobile medical units is we're going to implement it through the VA system. We can do that because the president has authority over the VA system, and we're going to expand the VA system and modernize it at the same time. So we'll be able to modernize the entire VA system, expand it, and provide healthcare solutions for everybody. Even illegal aliens will qualify for this. It won't matter who you are. And the best part, really the best part, is there won't be any record of your visit. There'll be videotaping of your visit for security and litigation purposes if you sued somebody for touching you. But we wouldn't take your information and data unless you wanted to offer it or you wanted free care. If you wanted free care and you didn't have a $30 copay, we would take your fingerprint and your name. And that would be our way of recording you as a beneficiary of Medicaid funds. We wouldn't be drawing 150 like we currently do from the Medicaid funds. We'd be drawing only 30 per person. So this is a huge difference between the way we deliver medical health care and the way we're currently doing it right now. Hey, Max, thanks for coming in. Follow-up and regular monitoring will help everyone. Yes, definitely. Did you hear that Mass and New York states give $25 gift cards when they release illegals from jail? The local liquor stores around jailhouses and prisons are complaining and will no longer accept them. Oh my gosh, thanks. I didn't even know that. Thanks for telling me. Massachusetts and New York, folks, is beyond belief. These Democrat states are giving away gift cards to people who use to buy booze when they get out of jail. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Even in Kansas. Yeah, that's right. Good night. Thanks for the links. Appreciate it. You guys really are nice to come into our show and hang out. Anybody can go into our show and get into our live join broadcast. You're welcome to do it. But we're up and running. Yeah, so this is a very modern approach to adding brand new portable technology to the mix and solving problems for people who are really in need of health care and follow-up. Modern for 2020, that's for sure. The National Guard in Virginia is not going to comply with the Virginia governor to confiscate guns door to door. He's asking the UN to come in and do it. Well, are you serious? The governor of, check this out, everybody. Mr. Bill has one for us. The governor of Virginia is asking the UN to enforce a small arms gun ban in that state. Whoa, that is wild. Here's a job opening: disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration services for New York. Yeah, exactly. New York, Virginia, all of them. They're all planning on hiring these people to confiscate your weapons. This is unbelievable. Wow. It's a Department of Peace Operations is the name of the department. It's in New York. They're planning on gun control in New York and Virginia. This is beyond belief. This is why we need a third party to stand up for our rights to bear arms. Trump isn't doing enough. He's already caved into Mitch McConnell and his sidewinded approach to red flag laws. In no way would red flag laws be permitted if the Second Amendment is upheld. This guy, by the way, works for Russia, in case you didn't know. Yeah, one of his largest donors is gave him $3 million for re-election. They call him Moscow Mitch. One of his largest donors is this guy right here. Lindsey Graham gets money too. Lindsey Graham's talking to Dershowitz and this guy Len Blavatnik, who is a U.S.-UK citizen who works for Oleg Deripaska, and this guy's considered a Russian oligarch, kind of like Paul Manafort was. So Mr. Bill is quoting him saying, we've received multiple questions regarding proposed legislation for gun control for the National Guard, Virginia National Guard, and law enforcement role. And Major General Timothy Williams, the Adjutant General of the Virginia National Guard, said in a statement, we understand and respect the passion people feel for the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment rights. We will not speculate about the possible use of the Virginia National Guard, he said. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bill. Thank you. Happy So we did get the story that U.S. drug companies did, in fact, raise the price 5 to 15% on meds this year, hurting a lot of people financially. The Pentagon is saying that, of course, this is RT, Russian propaganda, but the Pentagon is saying Trump directed assassination of Iran's Quds Force chief Soleimani to deter future Iranian attacks. I don't know. I can't confirm any of this. It's just hearsay. Until I see a body of the guy, we can't really verify. Officials spotted outside embassy attack visited Obama White House in 2011. Oh, and then the man went on to say, ultimately, I'm not the governor, but the governor may have to nationalize the National Guard to enforce the law. But that's his call, because I don't know how serious these counties are and how severe the violations of law will be.
Welcome back in a Fox News alert. American soldiers head overseas in the wake.
Right. Good to know. Well, at least the National Guard is standing up. If the governor of Virginia nationalizes the National Guard, it would bring in the federal government. And yeah, they could definitely integrate with FEMA as well. Okay, let's take a look at the story. They are building more troops up now in preparation for more attacks in the embassy area of Baghdad.
Of that violent attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
This as Iran taunts President Trump over violence and Iraqi leaders push to expel U.S. forces from the region. So is a show of military strength our next best move? Here to weigh in is senior fellow with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Behnam Ben Talabou. Thank you so much for joining us. We certainly appreciate it this morning.
My pleasure. Great to be with you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. So what do you think? Sending troops over, is that the answer?
It's part of the right answer. I think the administration is hitting all the right notes here. Embassy security, the security of America's diplomatic and military installations in the region.
This is almost too convenient, isn't it? It doesn't seem convenient that we're entering impeachment stages and Donald Trump is suddenly needed to be our great defender and ramp up our troop strength in Iraq. I'm beginning to wonder if this isn't some Israeli secret intelligence operation. ISIS. Yeah. The Israeli Secret Intelligence Service would be the acronym for ISIS, right? That's one theory. I'm not saying it is. It could be. But you got to wonder if they're not playing this up to make it seem like, oh, Donald Trump is doing so well. He's such a great guy. It seems almost like a diversion to me. Yeah. Just seems a little too cad. America's Third Party. This is our flagship banner. We used to have this on our show. That was 2016. I didn't update it yet. Thank you. All right, we've been doing pretty well so far. 2020. Australian braces for horrible day as bushfires continue to rage. People are wondering if these bushfires were started with directed energy weapons. Everyone around the globe is wondering if these same kind of fires, like the ones in California, looked like they were started with directed energy weapons. We've seen blue lights in the background of these fires, flashing streaks of light coming from above. Many people wonder if this should be investigated at a high level, and our government's stonewalling the whole thing. They won't even do anything. It's just all political games for these people. They're grandstanding, yeah. No, I won't be touring the country to give campaign speeches because it's too dangerous for me to leave my comfortable, protected compound here. Yeah, it's just too difficult for me to travel. I've done it in the past. We went out cross country in 2010, did a big run. 2008, we did a big run. Yeah, in 2012, we did a run too. But I can't do it anymore because it's too dangerous meeting people on the road. Luckily, we met people like Awesome Carl, and Tekwala, who, by the way, can't even get into our show because he was completely banned on Vaughn for no reason. Yeah, Tekwala was trying to get in here and he couldn't. So he goes over to Periscope to talk to us. Yeah, isn't that crazy? He's a guy we met in Chicago. We actually met him at the Denny's at about 4 in the afternoon, and then went over to McDonald's, because back then we started broadcasting at like 6 or 7 Central Time. And we went to McDonald's. We started the show up, and he came over there to McDonald's, and we sat there in Chicago in McDonald's and did a show from the road. All that's in our video library. But it was great to meet him. And he really is a unique, intelligent man. I certainly hope he has a more positive view about himself, because he really has a lot of talents that he just doesn't realize. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of you have a lot of talents you don't realize. It's hard to believe in yourself sometimes. Sarah's using a technique which she learned from a lot of self-help books on how to remain positive. And if you turn everything that you look at into something positive in your mind, it's a wonderful way of actually turning your attitude around. It's I was watching her do it today. We were talking about things. I tend to vent and get negative about some things. And she just keeps a very positive view about everything and turns everything around. She's using this as a technique, and it's actually really positive. It's very good. Yeah, so even if you're in a bad situation, try to find the most positive part of that situation and make it work for you. We met Hopper in Connecticut. He claimed to be a 101st Airborne Division guy, and when we met him, we saw, unfortunately, a guy opposite to that. So we knew there was something wrong when he showed some patches that he got on eBay or something. That was weird. And we went all the way out to Connecticut to meet him, and we were quite shocked that he wasn't who he said he was. And then later it became obvious. I didn't really want to confront him because he's got disabilities he's dealing with. He didn't show a VAID. He was showing some patches he claimed were his. It's so sad, really. But whatever. I guess everybody who's decided to become somebody online can become deluded in the process. In addition to passing a resolution declaring the county a Second Amendment sanctuary, the Tazewell County Board of Supervisors passed a resolution underscoring the right to a well-funded and regulated militia as described in the U.S. Constitution. So the Tazewell County Board is on it. They're on it. And so are the Culpeper people out there in Virginia. About 80 miles west of D.C., there's a town called Culpeper. Beautiful country. They raise horses out there. It's gorgeous. The sheriff said he's willing to deputize everybody in the county if they want to hold our arms. So people just have to go down there and have him deputize them, and if they want to retain their armaments, because the democratically led government in Virginia is starting to piss off the Virginia people. Big time. Really. So Hershey is retiring a whole fleet of Kissmobiles. Wow. Maybe I should get one for the show. Just hang out in my Kissmobile. There you go. Kiss me one. Kisssomeone.com. These Kissmobiles are very nice. I wonder what they're selling for. Very special. I wonder if they own that site still, kisssomeone.com. Let's take a look. Yeah, it takes you to Hershey's. They have the site still, yeah. I don't know if you should talk about who your girlfriend loves. It only creates friction between you and your girlfriend. Yeah, it takes you to Hershey's website. Cool. It's a bounce too. KissSomeone.com takes you to Hershey's products. That's very interesting. Thanks. I'll look at that later. Well, let's be clear. Okay. I should get a Kissmobile if it was affordable, right? I told somebody I'd probably be willing to sell my Honda Insight actually it's 2000, the year 2000 it came out. I'd be willing to sell it, but I couldn't get much money. I mean, what I want for it. I told Sarah I'm going to hold on to it. It's a collector's item. But I said I would trade it for an Eco van. Yeah, that's the one thing I would trade it for. So she's 28 and you're 76, Joe? Yeah. Well, everybody knows you, Joe. You're an amazing guy. I mean, who wouldn't want to be hanging out with a guy who's a famous actor, who's done countless movies? Yeah, Joe Pesci's our celebrity chatter today, everyone. Thank you, Joe, for coming in our show. There he is. You look great for your age. You really do. And I have a younger woman in my life. She's 18 years younger, yeah. But there's a show out now about young men and old women, and old women and old men and young women. Sarah was watching it. You may want to ask her about it. It's really interesting. There have been some amazing hookups. This one guy in England met a 73-year-old woman. He was like 19, and she said, "I don't care. I'm gonna go get a tan with him." And she gets a tan. She does her eyes, and she gets youthful clothes. He's got epilepsy, and at 18, 19 years old, she met him, and it's like they fell in love. She's like in her early 70s, and he's like 19 years old, but he has epilepsy, and she really understands how to help him. And believe it or not, these are matches that are almost made in heaven. You don't even know. They found each other, you know? And she may not, of course, live long enough to really be with him a long time, but still. It's amazing how people can find each other. Yeah, why not? No, that's not true. No, Howie. Not every woman is some sort of a slut. Just like Dan Aykroyd when he called Jane Curtin, "Jane, you miserable slut." Yes, I'm Cool Rock. Cool Rock is a website I constructed to give you guys a utility to have fun on the internet. It's a place that you can watch our show and have multiple chat rooms on the screen. If you open up the chat browsers first, they'll open up. And don't use Firefox. That's a big mistake. But you can watch the chat there. You have to allow the Flash player to work, and we'll figure a solution when Flash no longer is accepted by Adobe. They're making Flash impossible to operate. So you can watch the show at least if you operate Flash right there. So you go to Cool Rock, you can watch our show, and it's the Cool Rock online community, fun, free, and private. And over here is a really cool website, Web Oasis. It takes you to a gateway to the internet. And if you want to check out every aspect of the internet and learn, boy, it has everything. You name it. Incredible stuff. You can toggle through all these different rooms, find out, explore. Yes, you can get to the dark web through some of these sites. I can't endorse it, but yes, you can. And over here on the sidebar is all kinds of fun stuff. There's documentaries down at the bottom under Tube. The arcade is the best thing going there. And that's got all kinds of new games. Chess, pinball, even competitive military games. Drone World, Drake Wars. It just keeps going on. They grow every day. It's like they're growing every day. Minecraft Classic. I'd rather do this than go to Steam. It's far too cumbersome to have Steam running on our website. But anyway, Cool Rock has a tremendous fun thing to do. You can actually play music while you're watching the show. Say you just want to doodle with some music. You can also hit the advance button and record that riff that you create. Down here, you've got an individual, you can play with an automatic computer. An AI system will respond to your every note. That was a response. Interesting response. Other stuff too. I got a drum machine up here. UN takeover of the United States. Flashpoint for confiscation in Virginia happening. Yeah, I heard it. Oh, Mr. Bill is tracking the story. We're going to play you a 20-minute video about a possible UN takeover of our guns implemented through Virginia.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're watching AMTV Alternative Media Television. I am the president and founder of this media channel, and I've been doing this for 11 years.
Just like us. We've got 11 years into our show. A lot of people, AMTV's been trying to garner support. I'm going to give him a definite playtime tonight. We'll see what we can do for him. We are concerned about this flashpoint in Virginia and the fact that New York is soliciting people to work in an arms gathering capacity. Gun control is what they're trying to implement. Donald Trump is not standing strong like he promised the American people when he ran for office, and many people are saying, yeah, this is really weird. He's even talking about using FEMA or possibly federal dollars and FEMA to take in homeless people off the streets. And this past week we ran a story that was extremely disturbing. It was, you're not going to believe this, but there's a theory that some people are being pulled off the street who are homeless and being sent to China for organ harvesting. I'm not kidding. I wish I was. Yeah. You think that's funny? No, I'm serious. Yeah. It's not funny. It's sick beyond belief. Organ harvesting of homeless people's organs. Yeah, oh my God. Wig Anthony. Yes, I know. Anyway, moving on down the screen, we've got the Cool Rock assembly of doodle projects that you can hang out with. You can play the gong. But down here, we've got amazing things. You can click on these buttons and they'll bring you to a variety of psychedelic experiences, all of which take you to a different dimension. You want to play cards with yourself? Pick a card, any card. You want to have an amazing drawing experience? It's just fun. Everything on here is fun. And in the middle of this group of croutons, there's a thing called Type. You don't have to go there, but right next to the thing on Type is this. This is the gateway to the virtual reality on the cloud. All these people submit their virtual reality stuff to this site, and we're just piggybacking off of some of the coolest sites on the internet and amazing stuff that your computer can do with the power of their programming. And they'll even teach you how to do this too in some of these. And it goes on and on. I mean, you name it. There's just an endless host of fun croutons to click on, and every one takes you to either somebody's business card or some company or corporation. It's really amazing. I don't know. If the AMTV guy's pushing his bug out bags, I don't care how he pays his bills. Unlike him, I'm not in this for personal gain. So this guy's Bruno who's creating something here. It starts to materialize on your computer. Anyway, I could take you on many tours there, but I don't want to waste your time. And at the bottom of the page is the news and other information about America. So check it out, coolrock.com. Okay, ranking the 5 Democrats with the best chance of winning in 2020. Bernie raised over $34 million in the last blowout quarter of 2019. Everyone still wants Bernie, even though he's got one thing down pat: perversion. Yeah, nobody's as perverted as Bernie. Even Biden is less perverted than Bernie. He is, and plus he's in the 1% now.
Every 2 weeks,
I don't want to take this story, but he's in the 1% now, and Bernie is essentially becoming identifiable to the average American, especially people that want control over big monopolies forming. They go, Bernie, you didn't even stop Hillary Clinton. You caved in on her. You took the two $600,000 houses they gave you. And he literally patted his pocket with the 2016 election. And nobody really believes anything he says now because he's a total one percenter. And he's got a bad ticker. So Bernie is probably the worst capable of running for office. Biden and Trump are equal second. Based on their health alone, Klobuchar is healthier than Biden. Okay, so Trump was kind of hemming and hawing about whether he was going to fund Ukraine with that $400 million, and he kept it from happening. And now the White House Budget Office told the Pentagon that order to hold Ukrainian aid came from Trump. National Security Site reports. So Trump did hold that aid, more than enough to validate the quid pro quo allegation.
The Pentagon that holding nearly $400 million in Ukraine aid could be illegal. A top budget official made it clear the orders were coming directly from the president. Clear direction from POTUS to continue to hold. Michael Duffy, a top Office of Management and Budget official, wrote in an email to Defense Department Comptroller Elaine McCusker on August 30th. National security-focused website Just Security reviewed the unredacted emails, which had previously been released by the Trump administration with heavy redactions. The emails reportedly show that weeks earlier, McCusker flagged concerns that if the hold wasn't lifted soon, the Pentagon couldn't guarantee all of the money would reach Ukraine in time. The emails highlight the finger-pointing between OMB and the Defense Department over the freeze on Ukraine funds. Today, an OMB spokesperson said there was agreement every step of the way between DoD and OMB lawyers who were responsible for working out the details of the hold, in line with the president's priorities. Defense Department officials disagreed. One said, "We were always concerned about the ramifications of holding the military assistance to Ukraine." The new details come as the impeachment proceedings remain in limbo. White House aides were in touch with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's office over the holidays. But when the Senate returns tomorrow, McConnell plans to continue business as usual until Nancy Pelosi officially transmits the articles of impeachment.
Other House Democrats seem to be suggesting they'd prefer never to transmit the articles.
Oh, come on, Mitch. We know you're working for Moscow. Jeez. Moscow Mitch working for Moscow. You know, that's ridiculous. That guy does not deserve to have a Senate position. He is an absolute disaster. He won't even protect the mining operations in Kentucky. He's so in the pocket of Russia, Moscow Mitch has actually helped an Russian aluminum company take over aluminum mining in Kentucky. Isn't that unbelievable? He turned his own back on his own people to let a Russian aluminum mine operate in Kentucky. Unbelievable. Now back to Elon Musk. Yeah, so Elon Musk is definitely enjoying a smoke there. I'm not sure what it was. Mount, back to you. You'd smoke weed if you could? Yeah, well, apparently it did. Were you banned by the site owner's mother? I'm so sorry, she just banned you? Well, how come you're on the site then if she just banned you? Pirate Salty Dog. Thanks, another brother. Well, I was a square at one point in my life. I was such a student, it was unbelievable. I studied harder than anybody during high school, and I, of course, graduated #1 in my class at the highest level. And, of course, it came fairly easy to me, but I did study really hard. And I was kind of a dork during high school years. And when I got to college, it was like a shock to me, the social life. My only big year, that first year, and then I went back to college 8 years later. But that first year was overwhelming. The social life was extreme, and I didn't even smoke marijuana. It was really amazing. I'm glad I didn't smoke marijuana during that time period. I waited till I was 21 before I tried marijuana. I played chess at 5 years old. I beat my father at the age of 7 years old in chess. I beat my cousin at the age of 38 years old in chess, and he's good. But I'm not playing games anymore. I'm serious. We've got a real problem on our hands. If people are going to seek the dismissal of the impeachment articles out of the chute, you know they're corrupt. You know they're not willing to follow the Constitution. And Mitch McConnell is one of those people that is not willing to commit to the Constitution and his rights to actually have a trial. Now, I'm siding with Susan Collins and others in their effort to get accountability from the Republicans. These are Republican moderates that have gone out of their way to oversee the problems. They need to be addressed. We need to have witnesses. We need to have all the acts and articles put out there. I believe the Democrats are probably going to be coming out with a new article of impeachment. There's more than enough evidence in the 448 pages of documents, including the redacted portion that Mueller produced, to verify one thing, and that is that there was hacking of the election and Russian interference. And that would imply that one of the articles could be Donald Trump cheated during the election. There's more than enough evidence to prove that he knew about Russia's hacking prior to the election and didn't even tell the FBI. You know, I must tell you that if you've never tried marijuana, don't do it. Don't do it. You would like it too much. Yeah, and I tried it when I was 21, and I was at a kind of a low point. I'd already stepped out of college into business, and I thought, well, hey, I'm working day and night delivering T-shirts to the stars. I had all kinds of, we had clients all over the place. The company I was working for, Jefferson Starship, John Cougar Mellencamp, and I would be delivering these T-shirts and working very, very hard to get these jobs done, and I was making pretty good money. And I literally handled the entire printing operation all the way to the delivering of the shirts, including the bagging of the shirts. And I'll never forget that day. I was walking around all these inks, and it was in California, it was in Venice, and the air was blowing. It was a good westerly breeze. But I was thinking, well, I'm breathing all kinds of pollution anyway. Even going there every day, driving 30 miles on the 405 freeway, was enough pollution just breathing the air from the road. And I thought, why don't I try marijuana just to see what it feels like? Because it's, how could it be any worse than a muffler blowing diesel in my face when I'm driving down the street? So that was my rationale. And a guy I knew at that particular location said, would you like to try this? He took me into the dark room, and that was where the photography was done for the T-shirts. And he turned on the fan, and he pulled out some marijuana, and this stuff was really strong. And I do admit it, I inhaled it. And he put it in a little glass pipe, and I tried my first experience with this, and it was mind-blowing. It was amazing. My whole attitude, my life changed at that point. My 20s became not so hard to deal with. 21 was, a very difficult year, and I decided when I turned 21 I would try it, and I did. I waited till my lungs matured. And it was a very remedial experience. Yeah. So it made life a lot easier through those years, and I've got to tell you, if you've never tried it, don't do it, because you'll like it too much. And that's why I really believe in legalization for all of us. There's no reason to not have legalization. Considering it is medicinal, it's been proven to be medicinal, it shouldn't be on the list of controlled substances. It does create kind of a euphoria, yeah. I would describe it as a euphoric feeling. I'm sure if you consume marijuana and do other things like do creative writing or do artwork, it changes your experience. In Xenu's case, he watches more porno. I can't tell you where you're going to go with that, Zeno, but I can't tell you what to do either. Preparation H says he's so pissed off at his vet. Your 15-year-old dog, you're assuming, had a stroke. I mentioned that to my vet. The vet did not check my dog for a stroke, and she put my dog on dextrose. You read up on dextrose. I said not to give it to stroke victims. It can cause cerebral edema, which is fluid building up, in some cases, fluid around the brain of the lungs. Wow. You know more than your vet. Preparation H. Guess 1999's asked a big question. $199 says, how long do you think it'll be before the world gangs up on us and drops a surprise bomb on our soil? Well, some people believe it already happened on 9/11, so I don't think it really did happen the way we think it happened on 9/11. I think there's been a major cover-up there. But I believe that our defenses are still down and we need to shore them up. I don't believe that Donald Trump has made enough effort to do that. I'm not going to tell you how our country could be stronger, because that would lead to people in our enemies knowing more about our defenses. But I will tell you that we could shore up our defenses significantly. Part of that would be keeping other than Mexicans from smuggling bombs into this country. Now, I'm the idea person. I came up with this concept of a 1,000-mile fence back in 2008. I talked about a fence. I talked about using FEMA camp fencing that we currently have as fencing around our border. I measured the 1,000 miles needed to protect the border too, and exactly the areas that were weak, that needed shoring up. But here Donald Trump took my idea and ran with it, calling it a 1,000-mile wall. And then people asked him, how are you going to pay for it? And he said, oh, we're going to have Mexico pay for it. And invariably, he hasn't built the wall. We don't even have a slat fence over more than 100 miles. We've shored up some of the existing fencing in the 600-mile area, but not really that big. So the slat fence he just put up is now easy to break through. You can go to Home Depot and get an electric saw and break through it. With a $60 saw at Home Depot, battery operated, you could cut through that fence. That's so stupid that we would do such a thing. That same saw couldn't even cut through the sidewall of this effectively. It would take hours. They can cut through in minutes. They can form a wall and then start pouring through right now, a big hole. So Trump failed to implement the fence. And the biggest mistake he made was when he turned against Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer when they offered him $24 billion to build the fence. I'm serious. Your president turned down $24 billion. It's all on record. Because he didn't want to agree on the Dreamer Act or the DACA legislation that they'd already passed under Obama. He was so unyielding, intractable on that issue that Pelosi and Schumer said, okay, forget your $24 billion. We're not going to give you anything. It was Donald Trump's fault that we lost the money necessary to build something really strong. So we've created a better idea using existing containers that are sitting on our shores right now in ports of entry. We don't have a lot of trade back to China or India right now, so we've got a lot of these things sitting around. Put them to use. Buy them off the docks. We'll make more if we need them. And use these older ones to stack and pack and build this border wall or fence within a year's period of time for $1 billion total. Now that's doable. Donald Trump won't do that. Big difference. Okay, thanks for the link, Google. Yeah, Google has the 2018 Best Insult compilation from Gordon Ramsay. Yes, who doesn't want to hear Gordon Ramsay insult people? I mean, how fun will that be? 15 minutes of that tonight. Yeah, he's a funny guy. You know, I was shocked to find out that Gordon Ramsay is 7 years younger than me.
5, 6, 7, 8 of you. Fuck off out of it.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I was quite shocked. I'll add that to tonight's link, but Gordon Ramsay has a very busy life. I think it's stress related. You know, when you have all that stress in your life, he owns, what, 50 restaurants? And the amount of salt he uses in his diet, that can't be good. Yeah. But he's got an interesting personality. I mean, admittedly, he deserves his success, that's for sure, but he seems a little stressed out, to say the least. Gordon Ramsay, yeah. It's like life is treating him too stressfully. I mean, when you're that angry all the time, you got to wonder, where's he coming from, you know? He's like just so stressed out. Come on, dude. Piss off. Piss off. The risotto is mushy. Sorry. Anyway. He is abrasive and annoying. And you know what bothers me about him? He makes cooking like a nightmare. It should be fun. You see me slam food together. Tonight I made these 2 huge enchilada dishes, 8 meals worth, for $10. And I just make it so easy. You know, it's just like boom, boom, boom. And he said, yeah, this is prison food. You'd be lucky to eat organic, grass-fed beef prison food. Good luck with that. And I use nothing but the best ingredients, and I show people how to cut costs, and I make fun out of the experience, as opposed to misery and torture. There's a lot of oil out there. Yeah, we need to maintain our foreign oil contacts so that we don't have to draw from our proven reserves here in America. It's actually a tactical position we've taken for years. You know, I want to tell you something. I've reversed my view about oil companies over the years. I know Bernie's taken a really angry view toward oil companies. I don't. I see oil as a renewable resource. Even though I'm an environmentalist at heart, I really believe that we have a lot more oil than we're letting on to. And I think the facts prove that we are seeing a massive amount of oil still underground. And there's a possibility it's bubbling from beneath at the core. There's no reason to believe that the mantle of our earth, the core, the burning cauldron of fire, isn't generating carbon and it's trickling up to the surface. It makes total sense that that could be happening, considering carbon is in almost every rock structure. And it just distills out better than any other element because it's a circular chemical construct. It's actually carbon. The carbon molecular structures, even gasoline and everything, all are circular in nature. And as you know, circular things roll like liquid. And that's exactly why it oozes to the surface. But you couldn't get one geologist to agree with me in the entire world. I could not get one geologist to say, you know, you're right, Dave. Oil exists at 10,000 feet below the deepest point in the Marianas Trench outside of Japan. 10,000 feet below the surface. That means that 50,000 feet below the Earth's surface, oil has somehow been parked there. What, was a dinosaur down there at one time? Was the Earth's biosphere? No. Was there dendrified material down there at some time? No, impossible. It's bubbling crude and it's coming from the Earth. So I tend to believe oil is a renewable resource and we are not at peak oil yet. But you can be worried, you can be so scared that you want to be a Democrat and you want to get rid of your cars and get rid of all the airplanes and gosh, we just all should worry about oil. We really need to worry about the effluent coming out of our mufflers because that's the part that's going to kill you. Our government's not doing enough to stop that effluent as it sprays in our faces. So we know that diesel is one of those things we're going to have to scrub. So I've got some solutions that I have in mind for getting rid of the diesel out of the big trucks, and worst of all, out of the big cargo ships that are traveling across the ocean and burning the worst, cheapest gas or fuel or diesel they can find. There are 16 cargo lines that carry things back and forth across the ocean that are the biggest air polluters of all. If we capped that pollution and dealt with that pollution, even at a cost that we had to incur, our U.S. Navy could incur this, we could begin cleaning up the air quality significantly. And additionally, there's 10 different rivers around the world that are so bad with a massive amount of plastic waste that it can be corrected. We can fix it. So we are sitting on a situation where we don't have to be doom and gloomers like Greta Thunberg, who somehow believes that the only way to fix the world's problems is to embrace the bank's cap and trade policies. That's not the answer. This is a very, very dark answer that she's giving.
It is, the money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world.
It's so naive, it's not even worth mentioning. How she got on the cover of Time is really just shows you the corruption at our highest levels of the global world order. She's funded by George Soros, the guy who funds rioters, paid rioters in America, who's been trying to disrupt our politics by forcing both sides against the middle. She's part of the problem now because she's become their spokesman. She's part of it, I know. So in no way saving the banks is going to help us, the people. This is what's going to help us, the people. Air filtration, water filtration. These are the keys to fixing this country and making it better. And other countries can follow suit. We don't have to tell other countries what to do, like cap and trade wants to do. We don't want to force other countries to engage in our policies that we somehow think are the right way versus their way. Another brother's in. He's got his manifesto out there of all kinds of great designs of... Is this your blimp plane idea? Okay. Yeah, save the banks and let them repo your home. Oh, that's your passport. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're better fixed than I am. I can't even travel outside my country. Another brother is coming out of Taiwan, and he says he's got a passport. There you go. You're lucky you live in Taiwan, man. If you lived in China, you'd probably have a 0 credit on your social credit score. They wouldn't even allow you out of the country.
You'd have 1. Or would it be -1?
It would be a -1 for coming to our show. He'd have a -1 with the Beijing government for coming to our show, and he wouldn't even be able to get out. Ow, what?
My shoulder.
What happened?
Nothing, it's just I get aches and pains. I'm old. I'm
No,
an
you're
old
not.
lady now.
No, you're not. Just keep doing rotations, like this. Get the blood flowing. You're from Indiana. I know you're from Indiana, but you live in Taiwan. So what am I talking about? You got a U.S. passport. So fixing the country's problems involves actually doing the due diligence of cleaning the water, cleaning the air. And that's what I represent. Not this, let's fix the banks and they'll help us. No, I don't think so. Thank you, Sarah, for giving me a break. I'm going to go grab some enchilada.
Yeah, that was really good.
Good. I'm glad you liked it.
I, of course, also had some other treats. Deliciousness. All right. Figure it out. High IQ. You were from Indiana, but you moved to Taiwan. I got it figured out. It should not be off air. Let me see. Oh, I should be back on now on Vaughn. I'm back. You think David's grumpy? Maybe because he hasn't had his dinner yet. I was getting some pain right in here underneath my shoulder and more like my bicep area. Tricep area? Tricep, maybe. Anyway. Ow. Still there. David, all he needs is some coffee? Maybe. But he did make that great enchiladas that you can see on his site, youtube.com/DavidJohnSponheim. It is going to hurt. I'm sorry, Preparation H. And it's true. Your dog, when they get that old and they're suffering, you're right. I wouldn't want my cat to suffer, so. You need... I got you covered if you really want. I'm feeling in a generous mood, so. You want super ops, or is that good enough? You fell in love with a China girl named Lee, and you'll never be the same again? I was watching this show. Never mind. You think you're going to, that's funny, another brother. You think you're gonna, like, hook up with Lee again? Take it back. Okay. I'll take it back. Diop. All you have to do is ask. I'm in that mood. Ask and you shall receive. You like everybody being on the same playing field. I getcha. Can you give your dog any, like, medicine tonight? Like painkillers or something? Yeah, that's you have not because you ask not. I have everything I've ever asked for. A nice house. All she wants is a nice house and a nice man in a nice house on a quiet little street. I've got a beautiful cat and a great house and a view out of my kitchen window. Ooh, I have a kitchen window over my sink. Actually, I have 2 kitchen windows over my sink. I can see the sunset. I have the best job ever. I love my job. And I am reconnecting with my family. David probably would be like, hold the phone or turn it off. But I actually just downloaded Facebook Messenger so I can be connected with family chat when my family chats on there. Are you asking to be modded? My dogs don't cry. Does it really matter? Anyway, I'm very blessed. And I love my job. I really do. And I have a great income too. And by the time I get to retire, I should have enough money to retire the way I want to. And in the meantime, I'll probably end up getting my passports. I have a Facebook that's basically for my family and my work friends. But I have a Facebook that's for people here on the show, but that's a different Facebook account. Oh, anyway. I don't have any good weed because I don't do weed, but weed is legal in our state. And people that want to do weed have access to good weed in our state. I was just thinking about science, and what we're going to focus on next is habitats, and describe habitats in our area and all the things you see in there, all the living things and you see around it in our area. So it's good. It's legal in Canada now? That's good to know. Just don't try to cross into the U.S. border with marijuana, even if it's legal in Washington State and legal in Canada. The border is run by the Border Patrol in the United States, and it's illegal on a federal level in the United States. I don't do marijuana. I don't want to do that. I don't want to alter my mind. I want to approach life in full use of my faculties, full control of my faculties. Yeah, that would be good. First you said Facebook has a lot of trolls, and then you say they don't allow trolls on Facebook. Hey, another brother. I like your Stein. I have not had an out of body experience. If weed was legal there, you wouldn't drink whiskey so much. I do not drink. I purposely do not drink. Even if I go out to places where there is alcohol being served, I don't drink. Because then I want to make sure that I know that I am in charge of the decisions that I make. So, there you go. Your dog has a pulse. She's taking deep breaths and her eyes are not moving much. Oh, I'm so sorry. Would I ever smoke weed? No. I don't think there ever would be a reason for me to do that. I will say this, unless my doctor tells me you really need to do this, you really need to smoke weed. But and even then I might question my doctor's opinion and say, well, why? Because you're in severe pain and this will help you eat. Maybe that's it. But no, I don't need to do that. You haven't drank in almost a year? Good. Yeah. Me either. I don't need alcohol to make me feel good and free and happy. I am so happy. I am. There's moments of there's some moments where I'm not super happy, but I just let those moments pass and move on and try to focus on the things that are positive about my life. And I have a lot to be grateful for. David's house. David's show. All those things I have to be grateful for. You watching David's show, I have that to be thankful for. Well, I'm grateful that you have no windows in my sink. 2 windows above my sink. My sink's on the corner. My sink is on the corner of my kitchen. It's so cool. Because I can look out and see what's so cool I always wanted to be able to look out of my kitchen window and see a mountain view. And I always used to look at Arrowhead in San Bernardino Mountains because I lived in Riverside growing up. But I didn't have that beautiful view from my kitchen window. But I was like, I would love to look out and see a beautiful mountain view. And now I think, even better mountains because I see the Olympic mountains. And I like looking at snow on top of the mountains, but I don't like being in the snow. So it's very, very cool. Good. You have your dog covered with her blanket. She's laying in her bed. You have the heater on. Good. That's good, preparation H. So don't worry, be happy. Have you stopped smoking cigarettes at least? Yeah, I think positive, good thing, and good things happen. I agree with that. I should go pro teacher-wise. Putting up with people is not easy. I did get my master's degree last year. About a year ago, I got my master's degree, which is really cool. I have been, there's this, the next step would be if I want to get nationally board certified. I'm just not sure I want to go through that. But there is I would get a stipend if I did that. But I'd have to redo it every 5 years. Never went to college. It's okay. College sometimes can be overrated. But or you can say it's never too late if you do want to learn. One thing I love about the internet is that you can learn anything you want. Hello, clicked up. Oh, weed. Okay. David's whipping up a 500-pound batch of emergency pasta. That's pretty hilarious. Tonight, he did not cook pasta. I was very happy about that. He cooked, he made enchiladas, his version of enchiladas, which were really good. I had a couple pieces of the hamburger he bought and the beans and the tortillas and the sauce. It was really good. David has a knife sharpener, so he can sharpen his knives, including his cleavers if he wants. Yeah, you can be, yeah, exactly. How long do you have to, I think the thing about master, I mean, even though I have a master's degree, is that that's awesome that you're not in debt. That is amazing, actually. Me too. I'm not in debt either. I love it. I love not being in debt. That's another thing I love about my life. Anyway, I was just listening to a book about how, you know, being a master is something like that you never really attain. It's always like the pursuit, kind of like math. You're in the pursuit. I love this. Kim Sutton had this quote. It's like, mathematics is a pursuit of laziness, and actually I would probably change that to mathematics is a pursuit of efficiency. But anyway, that's awesome to not be in debt. I was able to go to school and not be in debt. And I really do thank Western Governors University, wgu.edu, for that. Because they have, their tuition was really affordable. So that was really, really nice. And then I also was able to get other things to pay for my undergraduate coursework. So that was good. Being poor actually is better than being in debt sometimes. That's true. Man, being in debt, you're just, that's not good. It's one thing to spend all the money that you have rather than taking money from someone else and spending that money too. I do have a credit card, but I try to, either try or I do pay it off every single month. I don't just try, I do pay it off every month. The only times I haven't is when I forgot because I got really busy with school. But yeah, I keep that all paid up. Oh man, do you live in like Southern California, wig test, Anthony? That's when I last had that kind of problem. You're down to being able to pay off the last $100 on the only credit card you have? Awesome job. Don't worry, be happy. Congratulations. You had to pay $358 at the vet for your dog? Man. For this one last visit? Preparation H, or you're saying all told? Your credit score is above 800, so you think you're marriage material? I know I should know my credit score, but I don't. Sarah, off-topic question. Do you think mermaids could possibly exist with a lot of the oceans being unexplored? I think that if you're talking about mermaids as in half human, half fish, I don't necessarily believe in that, no, but if you're talking about, like, there are cases where they thought manatees or what were they? Certain seals or something were like mermaids, so I think that's a possibility. I also do think narwhals are probably really cool mythical creatures. They're the unicorn of the ocean. I am talking with Vaughn and with you. Yes, I vlog people. Okay, I'll check on, I don't have Wells Fargo, but I'll check in my bank. Oh my goodness, before your dog got worse, she took her to the vet said she had a GI infection and gave her medicine and IV fluid for her so you could take care of her at home. That was Tuesday. Now it's Thursday and you think she's dying? You don't think that maybe she does just have a GI infection? Maybe that's why she's lethargic. Maybe she's not dying. Could be. Could be sepsis. You've been watching a lot of YouTube where they caught some mermaids on video and the videos seem real. Not all of the videos seem real, but some. Maybe. What would be... Oh, I like that. 507. 5107. What would be the point of them keeping that a secret? I am watching Netflix. You're right. Sometimes vets are not worth it. Preparation H. I have not taken my Amber to... Last time I took Amber to the vet was probably... I don't know. Maybe a decade ago. And then she was like drooling out of her mouth. And so they had to remove like 3 or 4 teeth. Amber is still alive today. David got her a present. I'm sorry your cat passed. Preparation H's dog is very sick. He thinks she's gonna pass. Yeah, we did get her shots. And originally she was really kind of ill when we got her, and we took her to one vet who was like, your cat's gonna die. That was 17 years ago. Your cat's gonna be dead in like 3 weeks. That was 17 years ago. So not all vets know everything. And David's like, where did you get your degree? And do you even look on, stay up to date with the current research? And because David actually kind of diagnosed her before we even took her to the vet. And he said he thinks she had chlamydia out of the birthing canal. And because one of her eyes was kind of off. Kind of like, I feel like my eyes have been off today. I need to do some focusing. Anyway. I have heard that they keep certain giant bones places or destroy evidence. Sounds like you did not have a good vet, especially with that price. All right, take care. Don't worry. Be happy. Thank you. Anyway, David ended up getting Bird Biotic, because you can order that online, Bird Biotic, to take care of your own birds. And it comes in powder form, and he put that in because the reason we went to the vet is he's like, I researched this, and if we can get her a 10-day course of antibiotics, it'll clear it up completely. They used to think it was a virus and incurable, and now they realize that it's a bacteria, and chlamydia is curable with a 10-day course of antibiotics. And the doctor, that vet that we originally took her to, was like, well, I'll give her a 3-day course, but she's going to be dead in 2 weeks. Horrible, horrible person. And anyway, we're like, okay, and this however many days she gave her, I don't remember if she gave her a 3-day course or a 7-day course, but meanwhile, we ordered the Bird Biotic online, and David gave her the biotics for the full 10 days, and she started getting better. Oh, that's good, Mooney. No, but I do. My ex went to ITT Tech. I got my master's degree from Western Governors University. We have a Husky and a Chow mix, and then a Husky and German Shepherd mix. No. Alright, you can populate the world, another brother. You go ahead and do that. David and I'm going to teach the future generation. I'll just keep being a teacher, but no, I'm not going to have children of my own. No. I know someone who likes Whitesnake a lot. Isn't that like, especially their romantic ballads? I was like, really? Whitesnake has romantic ballads? But they do. Well, thank you. I'm being polite as well. I know I'd make a good mother, but I don't really want to dedicate all my time to just one child. I love teaching because I can teach like a handful, a group of kids, give them my love, and then send them home, and they can give their love to their parents.
That's so nice.
And I can take a little time off and then come back and give them more love. There you go.
Well, that was good. It's a nice, it hit the spot. It's the kind of meal I can just have a small amount and then come back for more, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's like, yeah, that was tasty.
I don't know if Whitesnake was the one with the fire.
That was
that was Great White.
Great White, yeah.
Good one, sir.
103 dead.
Sir knew it.
103.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's.
The doors in that club that kept everybody inside is out. He's released now, I think.
I don't know where I'm going.
He locked the doors in that club that burned everyone to death. 103 people died, and he's out now on his own recognizance.
Wow.
He served his 8 years. Yeah, I track this stuff.
David tracks that stuff. I don't know. After the .bp, it's ****. Is that blogspot.com? Yeah, David said 100 people?
103 people.
103 people died in that fire.
Absolutely horrible fire. The Great White Fire.
Another brother likes that. Is that Whitesnake song? I don't know where I'm going.
Whitesnake's
I
really
sure
popular.
know where I've been.
Yeah.
Hanging on the promises. Da, 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 da.
I like that
Something
song,
like
too.
that.
Yeah, that's one of their
Hello, Tiddly D. You came in just in time for me to say good night.
Good night, Sarah.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well. All right.
That food was good. It was really tasty. It was
Yeah,
very
good job.
very wholesome. Yeah, and I used half of your crazy bread sauce, the pizza sauce
good.
they had.
I
They were
could
pretty
get a
good.
bubbly and do my own pizza.
You could make a bobbly pizza. There's also a crust made out of cauliflower now for people who don't like all the carbs. So you might want to look at the cauliflower crust.
Costco that was made out of like zucchini bread.
Whoa, that looks good.
Yeah. Anyway, but it was like
Zucchini needs a binder like some sort of gluten.
it did have. It was like wheat.
It was a zucchini wheat thing. Yeah, that might do. Well,
But
they
anyway.
do sell for like $1.79. They sell clumps of. They claim non-GMO wheat at Trader Joe's, and they're really cheap. They're like they're basically the crust at Trader
really?
Joe's.
Because
So
the crust that I was looking at was a lot more than that.
it's only at like under $2. You get
Really?
non-GMO wheat crust at Trader Joe's. That's pretty good, but it's far, far away.
I know.
In a far, far different galaxy. Yeah. I don't eat corn syrup. When GMOs first came out, I foolishly thought, well, they wouldn't poison us with corn syrup, would they? And then the more I found out about it, the more I realized, yeah, that's what they're doing. Hey, $3.2 million in legal weed was sold in Illinois on the first day of sales, marking one of the strongest showings in the history of marijuana legalization. Congratulations. Excellent. Thanks, please, Mr. David. Hey, and congratulations, you Illinois people. Right on. Indiana is coming up next. Very resistant in Indiana, though. I would love to see the legalization across the nation, as you know. No, my hair does not have its own Facebook page, but thank you. I'm sure you will develop a Facebook page about my hair because it's so perfect. Yeah, you can worship it if you want. You live a mile away from Illinois, so a lot of people are going back and forth. That is illegal, as you know. So traffic was backed up 10 miles in Indiana. Well, I'm sure that if the police had a sign of force there, they would have kept a lot of people from going to the marijuana shops in Chicago. I went through Chicago that last summer, and we tried to get a motel, even a decent motel, like a Comfort Inn or a Quality Inn or something. Nothing was available that didn't have a crack house right next to it, and some guy out in the parking lot dealing crack. It was unbelievable how messed up Chicago is. So we got a lot of work to do, and I think legalization is a step in the right direction for Chicago. It may consolidate some of the turf areas because some of the gangs are getting into the marijuana sales division of recreational weed. So what it will do is consolidate their location, which for a lot of these gangs have been pretty fluid. Needing money, they try to control each corner. And I definitely think Illinois should do something to make sure they're not dealing drugs in the marijuana supply stores. This is my real hair, man. You couldn't do this with a toupee. That's rooted, man. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt the Chinese want us to get stoned on weed. Yeah, because we got them hooked on opium. Well, it doesn't really matter. We're not adversaries, and we're certainly not trying to take over China. Now, when I started talking about how the people of Hong Kong need to be more respected, and at least the treaty that Hong Kong has in their name is honored till 2047 and give them self-rule, unless that is maintained by China, then we have a problem with that. And I would build it into the trade talks if I were Donald Trump. And I would also add to the trade talks some measure of constraint on China's part regarding harvesting of organs. What we're seeing from our indicators are that the Falun Gong group has actually been harvested of organs. This religious group has somehow been violated, much like the Jews were under Hitler. And I'm very concerned about that. So oil is up 3%. That goes concurrent with the idea. If Donald Trump consolidates his power, you'll see the gas prices increase up to $5 a gallon again. Yeah. What they're worried about is that Donald Trump would in some way be taken out of office, giving us a lot more ability to maneuver, because we won't have Vladimir Putin telling us what to do with Saudi Arabia. You see, this past year, Vladimir Putin has gotten really cozy with Saudi Arabia's Prince MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. And this relationship is not something that we've ever been dealing with in the past. And remember, Vladimir Putin's primary goal is to raise the price of oil, and so would be Prince MBS as well. We're trying to keep that price down because we're one of the largest consumers of oil on the planet, if not the largest. And we're trying to keep that from happening by using our pull of the purse, the power of buying, to maintain our low prices. And if we have a more independent government, chances are MBS will come to us. If we have a government run by Vladimir Putin, MBS and Vladimir Putin will make a deal and we'll get screwed. So that's why I'm urging you Republicans to leave your support of Donald Trump and come over to the middle of the center of the political spectrum and start uniting with people who are calling themselves Americans, unlike the Democrats and Republicans' rift that's currently dividing our country. So we certainly have to move in the right direction toward uniting somehow. Now, I've taken gun control off the table completely. I strongly believe that America should not push gun control. This has been a problem for a long, long time with the Democrats. They keep pushing gun control. The more they push gun control, like they're doing in Virginia and New York and other areas, the more likely they're going to lose elections, because mostly America wants the right to bear arms first and foremost. So pull that off the table, and then we could start agreeing across the aisle. I really believe we could start making some strides. Because the big problem the Republicans have with the Democrats is the Democrats want gun control. And I've talked to so many Democrats who think the government would not be pushing this. There's no reason why the government would want gun control. The government is able to lie to us about various events. They're making things seem like there's no proof, because there is no proof in a lot of different cases, like the Parkland shooting, where we're still looking for CCTV footage confirming that Nicholas Cruz did the shooting. We see nothing. So the American people are not going to be misled into believing, oh, it's so scary out there, we all better take away our arms, we better gun control. So let's take gun control off the table. And now we can start agreeing on certain things. Both sides can start talking. Well, I know, and that's the point. I appeal to both Republicans and Democrats on a grassroots level. I pretty much understand where we're at. And I also know we are not a lot of spendthrifts and people that give money away or waste money, like the Democrats. And, of course, Donald Trump with the military-industrial complex. He's just handing him a blank check for another $250 billion. Where did he come up with this? We were at nearly $500 billion a year for the military, and Donald Trump wants it up to $750 billion. Another $250 billion in the hands of the military-industrial complex. And now some story about an embassy fire or an embassy attack. It all looks very sketchy to me. Like it could have been done by ISIS forces, mainly the Mossad trying to shore up support against any of their enemies like Iraq or Iran. You know, the Mossad is completely capable of executing any type of a battle anywhere under the aegis of the ISIS forces. And some people believe that ISIS stands for Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. So if we're being led down that road toward, golly, Donald Trump is the only one who can handle us right now, who can help us. We're entering war now. We better just not impeach him. That's what it looks like to me, like a giant diversion. So I'm going to dedicate this text to him. Diversion. Isn't it amazing? And random choice. Yeah, anything's possible, but diversion is definitely on their list. So when we talk about what's going on over there in Iraq, it's just like, they're just shoring up Donald Trump's re-electability or to keep him in office, when in fact he's working for Russia and the Zionist elitists that put him there. Any kind of a diversion will do. Doesn't matter. Yellow? Yellow is a good color for diversion. How about green for a border? Yeah. That's a diversion. Oh, a scary diversion. Oh, diversion. Oh, scary diversion. Oh. Yeah, so this is a big diversion. And we're supposed to just look the other way while the real facts are still bubbling forward about the Donald Trump collusion issue with Russia. Everything else keeps coming forward, how he tried to obstruct justice by wanting to fire Mueller 5 times. Huh. Unbelievable. You had a girlfriend who brought her own towels and sheets to the hotel and mentioned her that to a guy at a bar that I bring my own towels. He was the creator of South Park, and then he created Towelly. I said, always bring your own towels, and he must have understood me. Are you making this up? And now, the Ayatollah Khamenei. Okay, Khamenei Jr. is saying that the guy has tweeted that we see Iran responsible for the events in Baghdad, and we will respond to Iran. First, you can't do anything. Second, if you were logical, which you're not, you'd see that your crimes in Iraq, Afghanistan, have made nations hate you. And Donald Trump says, Iran will be held responsible for lives lost or damage occurred at any of our facilities. They will pay a very big price. This is not a warning. It's a threat. Happy New Year. And Khamenei Jr. has responded in full. David, we have been in the Middle East for over 40 years, way before Donald Trump became president. That's my point, Hillary Clinton. And my additional point is that we've got a serious problem with Prince MBS cavorting with Vladimir Putin. Yes. And Mr. Trump being so cozy with Mr. Putin. Do you understand the conflict occurring right now, Miss Hillary Clinton? Yeah, Prince MBS and Putin are making headway. That's not good for us, especially with Donald Trump being in such a weak position as to want to kiss Vladimir's ass. Thank you. It's very nice to know that many people are gathering over the Saudi Arabian oil deal, possibly in works right now. I mean, come on. Do we need more of this? And look at Donald Trump in the background. Do you think he's a player? Look at him. He's completely out of the loop. He's like the doorman. I'm not sure if I should go over and visit Mr. MBS, but Vladimir told me to stay behind and wait for my check. Come on, he's playing us. Donald Trump is a total puppet for Putin. You know that. He has a picnic table on a cloth on his head. It's very popular in that country. I went green screen. Trump could be your president, but he cheated to win this election, so that's why we're dealing with the impeachment, okay, Trump-tardo? Many of you Trump-tardicans just don't get it. We didn't sign on to be Russia's gopher. You Republicans, you want to be Rush-ublicans. You want to really, really suck off of the Russian economy, hoping that you're going to get, what, cheaper vodka? Give me a break. Yeah, Trump-tardicans. They simply don't understand that we don't need to trade with Russia. Donald Trump made an overt misstatement, one of his violations of the powers that he has. He said that commerce, and he ordered commerce to say that Russia, economic growth with Russia would be very beneficial for our economy. I have not seen one single statistic to support that. We compete at almost every level with Russia. Why would we want to do business with this country? Hello? And for that matter, why would we want to extend a hand of partnership with the nation of China and giving them First Nation trading status, which Clinton gave them, which Trump continues to give them? Why would we want to do that if they continue harvesting organs from innocent people? Yeah, big problems there. More serious abuses in China than Kim Jong-un in North Korea. That's what I'm concerned about. So do we have to go to pre-Nixon times with China? You know, it wouldn't hurt us economically simply because we can draw all kinds of commerce from all of Asia, and they love it. And our economy is strong enough to do that. Don't worry, your 4K ULED TVs will fly in with your 16K screens soon. It's not going to stop because we're angry at China. So when Trump created this inadvertent trade war with China over stupid moves like detaining Meng, a wonderful woman working for a company that China loves, Huawei, we made a big mistake. And now having Trump handle the negotiations is another big mistake. I'm sure we can get President Xi Jinping to come to the table with a plan for both Hong Kong and human rights abuses. I'm sure we can make some progress there. But can we ask them honestly to pay their people the same wages they pay in America? No, of course not. Can we ask them to go door to door and check every single facility to make sure it's perfect in every way and doesn't in any way make people work too hard? No, that's ridiculous. My big contention is, should we allow people to be having their organs harvested? Literally kids, I've heard kids are literally given up to the state for money. And they give their children up and they take the organs out of the kids and the kids die. That to me is an atrocity unparalleled in U.S. history, world history, or anywhere in the world. And I hear it goes on, but I just don't know where it's happening. For all we know, they're probably doing it in our military system or in our prison system. And I will definitely deal with that too. But we've got to get a standard on human rights that all of us can follow. And if we're going to do trade with a country like China, they should follow it too. Now, I'm not pretending like America's some holier-than-thou-art place where everything's free and democratic like your personal president, Donald Trump, thinks. We're far from that. We have 2.3 people in our jail system per 100. That's a ratio of 100 good people to 2.3 prisoners. Yeah, in North Korea, it's 100 people to 1 prisoner. We have a higher number of prisoners per capita than they do. So we have to ask ourselves what's going on in America too. When are we going to stop the brutality? When are we going to reverse the behavior of our police that are acting like insane, brutal idiots, killing people recklessly who are innocent? Well, here's a thought. Don't call the cops, otherwise you never know. They could kill you at your front door. That's my concern. How many people in America get killed every year by cop? Well, 1,200, if you want the honest answer. 1,200 Americans get killed by cop every year. 1,200 people get blown away, and half of them are unarmed. And more than half of them are unarmed, and at least 1/4 of them are disabled. So that's a serious problem. So yeah, when we could clean our own house at the same time with a comprehensive policy to stop human rights abuses and show it to China and say, yeah, we don't want this going on in your country either. If you want to trade with us, let's get down to the brass tacks. I believe that Donald Trump is hiding his own personal debt with China when he makes trade negotiations with China. His $600 million in debt to China and other nations related to China is significant. For our country to even allow Donald Trump to engage in a Chinese trade war is absurd. This man is unstable. He has personal agendas that could infiltrate our trade policies and force us into a foreign crisis with a great nation like China. So I really think we have to tread lightly here. But we also have to be firm about what we want, and Trump can't even articulate it. He made no progress with North Korea, none whatsoever. And Vladimir Putin sent his henchman, Lavrov, the foreign minister to North Korea, to do the bidding and to arrange meetings with North Korea. Big deal. 3 meetings. Oh, I've got a great relationship. I love Trump. This is not some sideshow. We need to actually get somewhere with nuclear non-proliferation. And he couldn't even pronounce the word denuclearization. Donald Trump struggled with that word. In fact, he's on record saying, the big word thing. We're going to do the big word thing with North Korea. I mean, come on. We got a veritable moron running our country into the ground, and you're standing there, you Republicans are standing there going, well, we need Trump for another term. Huh? You can't afford to have Trump for another term. Our nation is losing its position in the world trading situation because of his actions. It's hurting our businesses and our manufacturing. We're going to do the big word thing. Big word. Big word. Denuclearization. Oh, I said it. Yeah, he couldn't pronounce it for the longest time. All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to something more fun. MUFON has records of UFO landings. See if these work. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Okay, we got a few things that didn't work. We'll get back to the show as soon as Elon Musk takes a hit. Yeah, that's some good weed, man. Yeah. You know, I don't smoke on camera, as you know. I prefer to vape myself, but yeah, Trump is giving us a bad rep, basically. And it's really just because he's so greedy and he's got so many national security risks flying around him that I think even the deep state has realized that we're going to have to move on to somebody a little bit more idea-oriented. Trump is so unwilling to work with our country to help improve our important issues like building and manufacturing in the green, clean tech sector, which Obama failed to do. He handed it over to private enterprise, and it's a calculated error Obama made when he made that decision to give money like $530 million to Solyndra to make solar panels. And what did that lead to? Nothing. No solar panels, no Solyndra, nothing. Here I want to innovate and create blimps that can fly with the greatest of ease and get up in the air and save energy, so much so that our country can save huge amounts on flight across country. I've got ideas that could stimulate the private sector as well, like our 2% infrastructure bank, which could offer a really big support for anybody who's a U.S. business hiring a U.S. citizen at $15 an hour minimum. So these ideas are cutting edge, which actually improve our economy and grow it rather quickly. The Democrats don't have anything close to these ideas. Even Andrew Yang tried to take my $500 a month plan and make it his own by doubling it, which is a low blow to me because we don't have that kind of money to throw around. Andrew Yang proved to me that he's not really a person who understands the ebb and flow of the economy. He's just a guy who wants to sell somebody on some concept when it was my idea. It is a genius idea to talk about an infrastructure bank. You know, Sarah was in a group call with John Kerry about 4 years ago. And John Kerry got into a discussion about how he wanted to create an infrastructure bank. And Sarah was astute enough to question John Kerry in a phone call and say to him, isn't that like the Federal Reserve? Because John Kerry's idea of an infrastructure bank involves Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and everyone else getting involved. My idea and our idea and Sarah's idea is to keep those companies and their dirty, stinking, greedy hands out of the bin of money. And this would be a U.S.-based operation out of the Treasury directly. An infrastructure bank offering 2% loans through the discount window to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a $15 an hour wage. That will stimulate growth. That will get the ground going with more production, more jobs. When they gave out TARP 1 and TARP 2 money, the Democrats fell short because they didn't give incentives, and most of all, they didn't insist that there would be strings attached to that money. Instead, they just went ahead and told them you can do whatever you want with it. So a lot of companies took that money and invested overseas. One company in particular, Caterpillar, the corporation, Caterpillar Corporation, they made a big mistake. The CEO of Caterpillar decided to contact a couple of Indian Chinese businessmen and negotiate $1.5 billion of the $7 billion they got, and gave them to $1.5 billion to these Chinese Indian businessmen who claimed they were selling them an aluminum mine in Madagascar. Caterpillar was going to get into aluminum production, right? Well, the CEO, get this, the CEO of Caterpillar gave that money to those businessmen without even seeing the aluminum mining facility, without even going out there and investigating the property. We gave that man, that company, Caterpillar, $7 billion, U.S. tax dollars, and what did they do? Squandered it. And they lost that $1.5 billion. It was a total scam. That's just for starters. We could go on and talk about Pat Paulson and all the money he gave away. But when I ran across this article in Zero Hedge regarding regarding Steve Mnuchin, it kind of shocked me that this guy can't explain really where $1.5 trillion has gone over the past few years. That's even more than Pat Paulson's $56 billion loss in one day. Here's Steve Mnuchin can't really explain what happened to $1.5 trillion in $100 bills. I'm thinking he may have borrowed it without getting congressional approval. That's my suspicion. And if that's the case, he's borrowing from our till to make it look like the stock market's doing really well. It's a lot of money, isn't it, Wiggs Test Anthony? Good point. You have a good night too, Prep H. I'm so sorry about your dog. Yeah, go watch All in the Family and enjoy your evening. Your dog is, that's bad information you got from the vet. Too bad vets aren't really on top of what's going on the internet. We don't know who you're coming from, 741. We're going to remove you from the show because you don't belong here. You have to be an ex-Dem or an ex-Republican or in the process of leaving your party to come in here. I know. You're watching what was going on in Hong Kong, another brother was? Yeah, I just read that. Yeah, that's good. Laters. Ab left too. Okay. It is. A lot of people are losing money left and right. And they said that recently the billionaires earned 25% profit on their money last year, on average. Billionaires across the nation earned 25% of their money. Isn't that amazing? Well, I've got some exciting stuff. I keep bringing this up from last week, but we are looking at new technologies for getting rid of plastic waste, and I'm very excited to see that. I'll give you this link if you want to check it out, but there's technologies coming that will definitely deal with plastic waste in rivers. Dezeen.com has this, and it's very much what Boyan Slat is doing out there in the ocean, but on a small microcosmic level. A lot of times they have to deal with trapped turtles in these nets. And a lot of these systems are running on solar power as well. I anticipate seeing some major innovations in this department. This is an area that it'll pick up the plastic and put it in a bin. A robotic arm will pick up the plastic and put it in a bin. This has a conveyor belt system very similar to the one I was suggesting, where all the material goes into the conveyor belt and goes up into a compressor. But I want to take it to another level. And one of the ideas I'm suggesting is integrating with a Japanese technologist who has developed a way in which plastic can melt rather quickly. And I know I've talked about this a couple nights, technology nights in the past, but it's still very relevant. This guy is really a genius, and he's come up with this fantastic way of melting plastic into oil and fuel. You can put all this in as it is. Then easy to understand that it turns it on and then tighten it down. So he'll turn it on now, and it literally condenses all of that plastic waste into a chamber, cools it down, heats it up, cools it down, and converts it into primary components of diesel, gas, and kerosene, or gasoline, diesel, and kerosene. There's plenty more gas out of the plastic than diesel, and the kerosene is the distillate. But isn't that amazing? You can imagine what we could do on board ships with that technology. We could pull plastic waste out of the ocean and virtually turn it into oil that we could use for further reuse. Go to a pubic stylist for all of that. Yeah, surely there's one in your neighborhood. Yeah, ask your pubic stylist for your tips. Thank you. You believe the environmental movement has many hallmarks of an apocalyptic millennial cult. I agree. Urgent predictions of doom and fear-mongering utopian ideology, us versus them, good versus evil, a child messiah, unquestioning dogma. I totally agree with you. I don't disagree with you at all on that, Mad Dog. That's why I'm not a Democrat. No, I'm kidding. There's no such thing as a pubic stylist, but I imagine it would be legal to start a business doing that. Maybe if you're in New York and you just offer up, your services. Pubic styling for discount. Bring your electric shears, But yeah, I agree with you. You might die, well, your pubes might die in the process of you dyeing them. Anyway, I don't know anything about pubic styling. I just came up with a funny retort to somebody who said, how do they handle their trimming their private areas? No, I'm not investing at all in pubic styling salons. No, sorry, you got the wrong guy. It will save our planet if we plant 1 billion trees in 8 years using special seeds. And this drone shows it's capable of doing that. I will give China some congratulations. They did plant 13 million trees last year. Yeah, and that's a big step in the right direction. Thank you, China. So we're not all negative about China here. Hey, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, but ask your doctor if you can find a person who can shave you. Go to check in for surgery and they'll shave you for you. You'll get a nice orderly to take care of you. This drone will save our planet by planting 1 billion trees in 8 years using special seeds. Whoa, that's cool. Trees are in grave danger, and by extension, us. However, a team of Canadian science and engineering graduates wish to plant 1 billion trees by 2028 with the help of drones. Maybe that's what they're doing in Colorado, testing the big seed planting drones. You think? That's a really cool story. Very cool. Very nice. They have pre-germinated seeds, fertilizer, and mycorrhizae, whatever that is, as well as a secret ingredient that apparently is loved by plants. The seeds in these pods are already sprouted, which allow for a successful growth pattern along with a strong rooting system. So it plants pre-germinated seeds that are already sprouting. Isn't it amazing? Here's how it works. The secret sauce, the local seeds, the nutrients, all mixed together. Dropped on the ground by the amazing drone, seeds sprout fast, growing trees in the community. Flash Forest states, we started Flash Forest with the goal of offsetting carbon emissions enough to have a significant and measurable impact on climate change within the next decade. Good. Well, if only we could get those people to stop the chemtrails from being dumped in the sky. Because here was my website, chemtrailparty.com, and I'm going to update the 2020, probably do that tonight. And we talk about how the chemtrails that are being dumped in the skies could block oxygen from forming. It blocks the light for photosynthesis. So no matter how many trees we plant, we're going to have to deal with a chemtrail problem. Yeah. I just didn't think you'd overlook that simple fact. And I hear the Democrats are talking about, well, we should spray things in the skies. That's so much better. That would be great. We could have stratospheric aerosol injection. Yeah, they've been doing that for years. That's why we have air that looks like putrefied hell. Look at this massive amount of chemicals being dumped on our skies. This is a typical view of America or any other country around the world. So if we don't deal with that problem, it's going to be a problem. Look at how it goes off and on. That's not a contrail, folks. Now, the engine isn't just spurting a gas and hitting the accelerator. That's a chemtrail. Isn't it amazing? So we definitely are concerned about that, as well as many other things the Democrats won't even talk about. Yes, exactly. So not only am I a supporter of filtering water, big time, I mean low-cost filters for home use, especially ones that are contaminated, like in Flint, Michigan. Air filtration solutions that get rid of dangerous chemicals, because it's not just carbon we're dealing with. We're dealing with 55,000 chemicals blowing in the skies, causing irreparable damage to our lungs. And of course, ending the chemtrails. Hey, Scissor Fight, good evening. Hey, you got a documentary? Excellent. Let's see what that is. Okay. This is called A Shot in the Dark. Looking good. The truth about vaccines. Please share so the world can wake up. They hide videos like these for a reason. They do not want you to know what vaccines are doing to your health and your children's health. Please share. Good. 33-minute video will be playing tonight, starting at 10 o'clock. Awesome. Thanks for that tip. We needed a good video for tonight. That's perfect. Yeah, it turns out that I have coolrock.com. That's correct. It turns out that the world's wildest rapper. Okay, I'll have to look at that privately later. Yeah, there's a... Hang on a second. Time for coffee. I don't watch videos like that, sir. Denmark sets new record for wind power. Wow. Okay. You know, Warren Buffett has openly said that he's going to do the give pledge when he passes on. Now, aside from pissing off his entire family, which I'm sure they are pissed off about that, half of his income is going to go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah, that means like $25 billion will go into their hands. Yeah. Well, for one, I don't believe that the give pledge is a good thing, because if Warren Buffett wanted to see people benefit from his money, he would give it away now, right? So it makes no sense. The give pledge is a joke in my mind. I'm glad it's something they talk about, but to me it's not really very sensible. And they have about $40 billion right now, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And what they do is they vaccinate children around the world with what they claim are safe vaccines. Well, there have been 55,000 kids that died from adverse reactions from vaccines that were delivered by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So in essence, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation killed 55,000 kids, inadvertently giving people vaccines and having adverse reactions. That's a serious problem. And for Warren Buffett to give his assets away to them, of all people, to continue this reign of terror on humanity without any real check or double check on the efficacy or the effectiveness of the vaccines is pretty out there. So I would recommend that all these people who do this give pledge, I think that they should do something different. I think they should change it to the giveaway pledge, where they actually give it away during their lifetime and people appreciate them for that money. It makes no sense. Why would someone give away half their money when they're dead? And Trump thinks vaccines are good too. I know, Ivan. That's what makes Trump very questionable. Trump also endorses the 5G networks without any limitations on their safety. Yeah, well, he could give $25 billion toward the national debt. Exactly, if Warren Buffett really wanted to help this country out. Good point. Thank you. But giving it to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation just seems like a real moronic thing to do. And I can only imagine what Warren Buffett's kids feel about him giving away half of his assets to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I mean, really. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the family, but I wish them the best, really. But it's pretty obvious Warren Buffett has been a buddy with Bill Gates. Pretty close. You know, they're very close indeed. I wonder if they went to Jeffrey Epstein's Little St. James Island together with, you think Bill Gates went with Warren Buffett to Epstein's Island together? And why has Bill Gates stopped talking about Epstein's Island? And he won't even talk about it. He went there multiple times. Bill Gates' wife is making him give up, Dave. I'm not sure what that means. Well, they're well-known philanthropists, but they're also giving money to vaccine programs that have killed 55,000 kids. Is that exactly their intention? Really? To put out vaccines that have adverse reactions and kids die from them? Is that really their intention? They call that eugenicists. And let's not forget that Bill Gates came from big money. Oh, yeah. And let's not forget that Warren Buffett earned most of his money on compound interest when you could make interest in banks, which means he made money on his money, which isn't exactly earning it, is it? And let's not forget that Bill Gates actually made money on the back of the government buying new operating systems every year. Oh yeah, you got to have Windows 98. Oh yeah, definitely Windows Millennial Edition's coming out. Oh, and let's not forget Windows Millennial Edition number 2 with the second upgrade. And oh yes, Windows XP. Oh, look at that. And Windows NT, remember that? Windows this, Windows that. Every time he came out with a new Windows program, which had more backdoors than a homosexual in West Hollywood after a night out. Bill Gates continues to leave his operating systems undefended and open to a major gaping rape on the internet. Windows ME sucked. Exactly. And this guy made all his money on the back of the American taxpayer with government contracts from Uncle Sam. So basically, this guy owes Uncle Sam a little money, okay? No harm was intended to Bill Gates during the making of this video. And Windows 7 is losing support this month. Talk about technology glitch. So not only did he not create covers for his back doors, he lubed them up with a little malware Vaseline and openly invited people in. So I think a lot of people are concerned that this incompetent idiot who thinks he has some great knowledge of the internet, along with this guy who thinks he can invest with compound interest and make money the old-fashioned way, they're dinosaurs. The future of American enterprise will be built out of a government-led corporate agreements where we can actually form a democratized union with companies as big as Microsoft, where we can actually be part of it and increase the number of average jobs online from your home, or with companies like Google. We're talking a reformation of the internet that's so great that we'll wonder why we didn't do this earlier. Right now, there is a lot of rich, super rich people walking around thinking they know tech when you know just as much tech as they do. You're not making $350,000 a year and going to the water container and saying, I can't believe this is not ionized. I mean, can't we get alkalized and ionized purified water here? They're making big bucks, you're not. So what I'm proposing is that you people who are working at your home could easily qualify for a job making up to $3,000 a month and not even commute. Stay in your own house. When we democratize some of these companies, and I'm not saying we're going to do it to Microsoft, but I am saying we're going to do it to Google. Because clearly the government owns Google right now. There's no reason why we don't have a democratically socialist base for Google, where we have many more jobs at lower salary, but many more opportunities. And enough of this complete censorship of YouTube videos. There's not one person in America who's going to stand up and say, yeah, I stopped YouTube from censoring me. No, not one person in YouTube is going to answer your question. So what I'm proposing is a return to the fairness doctrine, a way in which we can actually get accountability from companies as big as Google. And the fairness doctrine automatically forces all these companies to abide by a standard which was put in place years ago, where they serve the public interest. Google is the owner of YouTube, and YouTube is a network, no matter how you cut it, just like ABC, NBC, and CBS. And every one of these networks should be serving the public interest. So if we can return to the fairness doctrine, that's a big plus. And it won't be more than just a signature on a document for me to reinstate the fairness doctrine as President of the United States. Second of all, I want to put together a media verification alliance so that we, the people, know that what's going on is not some crisis event that was activated by somebody in power saying, we're going to need to scare them into wanting gun control. So let's go ahead and have a shooting over here in so-and-so, and we'll say it's real. Okay? So that's something I want to put in place. New ideas. Ways of getting accountability. All right. Now, what will the Media Verification Alliance is are people that are retired, willing to go out on their own. We'll give them the money for their car and a motel room for every night they're out within a 500-mile radius of their home. They won't have to drive any farther than that. We may even comp plane fare if it's convenient from city to city. But the bottom line is we want real people who have put their finances in a public trust, so we'll be able to see that they're not making money being bribed by people to say that something happened or didn't happen. How many people could live off GoFundMe pages who are completely corrupt? How many people have been involved in a lot of these false flags and shootings and have been receiving tons of money from their GoFundMe page? We're going to stop that too. Okay. Just thought I'd tell you, I've got some secrets to the future where we have less fake news and better media and better control over corruption like Google has right now. Google is very corrupt. We need to get people in there to support the people that are being censored. Conservative and liberal are getting censored. Now, we're looking at a video coming up here. Okay, this is going to play right now. All right, great. Apparently, they're getting ready to start bringing back the selective service and possibly a draft. This is the biggest concern many people have had with this endless war in the Middle East that the New World Order is pushing. Wow, look at that. Yeah, stay eligible, register.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think we're headed for war and you don't think they're getting ready for a draft, if you don't think they're gearing up to take your young men away from you and take them overseas to come back in a body bag wrapped in a flag for some other country's interest in a region far, far away from here, you have another thing coming. This is on the side of an OC bus. This is a county public transportation bus, folks, in Orange County, California. And look what they're advertising. The selective service, ladies and gentlemen. This means war is imminent.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. Thank you for that, Scissor Fight. The selective service has been going on for a long time. I've talked about ending selective service. We have more than enough people in our volunteer army, and the advent of the new type of soldier will be enough to minimize the need for a standing army. modern day technology is moving so quickly that we will have bots, unmanned vehicles that will be able to fight wars or at least maintain positions in battle. I'm not going to, elaborate on how deep that'll go, but we're not going to turn it down. I'm embracing the idea of robotics. The future of America will be based on a robotic platform of defense. The question is, are we willing to democratize this nation and make sure that we have control over the development of the robotics? Yeah, you made a false statement. You said that there are already laws against reporting false crimes. Those laws are not enforced because of the suppression of the Smith-Mundt Act under NDAA 2012 and 2018. If a person engages, or a company or a country engages in any type of false propaganda, alleging there were victims when there weren't, there is no law to suppress that anymore. They can't say that's illegal. They can do whatever they want at the government level because, remember, they think they represent us. That's how it's written, and that's how it's perceived. Yeah, and these people like Greta just want to save the banks, right? So what I'm recommending is that we have a modified control over the development of this type of equipment, if you will, so that we can make sure these units cannot be used against the American people. Now, I'm also thinking of reviving Posse Comitatus, which is was developed to prevent the use of army against its own people in America. Right now, they've suppressed Posse Comitatus, and it no longer applies. And with the advent of cyber technology, we need it. We really need Posse Comitatus more than ever, because these androids or cybernetic robocops, if you will be deputized and capable of responding to situations in neighborhoods. If we prevent that from happening and tell them their sole purpose is to defend the nation, then we'll have much less totalitarianism over the advent of technology. Yeah, there are enough poor people to be willing to volunteer to the military right now, and we've never had a problem supplying our volunteer Army and Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, and of course the Coast Guard. So we have the ability to develop this technology to have safeguards installed in it to prevent misuse. And I've even talked about the advent of a drone missile defense system, which would also be a way to defend our country from outside of its barriers. A drone missile defense system could veritably be made we could sell it to our allies as well as to our enemies. It would be completely hardwired to not actually deviate from its course based on any interruptive transmission from outside of its core memory center. If it's communicating with FM transponders or infrared transponders with other drones, these things could become AI and elevated intelligence. So the minimal communication between each unit would be better. We would design the technology to not be able to think as an AI system, but rather as an autonomous thinking center. Whereas AI, if it's integrated, can run continuously and integrate itself with these and could ultimately destroy the human race. So building safeguards into the development of artificial intelligence is the key. And the drone missile defense system will be the very basis of that principle at its core. Making sure that the system can't be used against us, can't be used by enemies to be rewritten to attack other areas. Simply defend one perimeter and one particular map location and no other. And no flexibility within that parameter. So anyway, these ideas need to be honed and developed at a high level, and our government's like asleep at the switch. They can barely understand what phishing is on the internet. Our Justice Department took 8 years to put a warning so that Grandma and Grandpa don't get calls from a Nigerian saying, "We have a wonderful deal to give you $1 million. You must go and send us $35,000 to get $1 million. And your Grandma and Grandpa send $35,000 out thinking they're going to get $1 million, and your Justice Department did nothing to defend your parents, your grandparents. So We got people asleep at the switch out there. No, it was just your reality is heading in that direction. I mean, you have become one with the Steel Reserve, man. And here we're giving you every reason to stop drinking, and you keep drinking every night. Yeah, I know you got at least 4 cans under your belt right now, if not 5. You're not taking the AA meetings seriously. You're cheating on your AA sponsor. I mean, what the hell, dude? You're gonna go through life joking around your whole life. You had 9 Steel Reserves you had today. He's on his 9th Steel Reserve. Can you believe that? These malt liquors that are like enough to toast. One of them's enough to toast anybody. I know, the guy's drunk every night. No, the drone army is nothing I deployed. It's just an idea I have in mind. The drones will be able to defend our nation with lightning fast speed. The supposed Mach 27 speed of the Russian missile system is a joke. He can't prove that his missiles can go Mach 27. It's absurd. Vladimir Putin is running around like a little man, big mouth. Big man, little mouth. He's a little man with a big mouth. And he's not working toward peace at all. And the rest of the world is looking at Putin going, what an asshole. We're trying to move toward nuclear non-proliferation, and Putin takes control of our election, hijacks our president's brainless mind, and makes him think he's doing the right thing by increasing tactical nuclear weapons. What an asshole. So Putin definitely needs to have his short hairs pulled a little bit into the right position where he starts to bend over and realize you cannot threaten America. But we have to do this nicely. We have to offer an intermediate nuclear force treaty, an INF treaty that would be sensible for both of our countries. And we have to make sure that he is on the same table as we are about reducing offensive armaments, enhancing defensive armaments. So the missile defense system that I'm proposing does just that. We could even sell it to our enemy. That's how good it will be. That's how safe it will be. And it'll be incredibly fast. The unit will be operating completely autonomously with docking hubs that are run by video cloaking devices that no one will even be able to see or detect. And when they dock and when these things go in for repair systematically, they'll be done automatically on board the docking station that protects that specific nation. Very simple, no problems, everyone's safe. No one's going to attack each other. It'll begin to lower the barriers of militarization that people like Putin, dinosaurs like Putin, are pitching, and stop this endless buildup of military weaponry across the countries. We need to start thinking about peace again, and building a platform for peace involves credibility. And right now, we don't have any credibility. We've got an absolute idiot for a president who will do whatever Putin tells him to do, and it's become almost it's a laughable situation. It's like Putin and his puppet. And we have literally, and you Republicans who sit there and think, oh, Donald is doing so great. He wants to take a trip to go visit his puppet master this Christmas or in April. I mean, this guy has no idea how he's sliding into a complete abyss of bending over and sucking up to Russia. And if he's doing it because they have dirt on him with the sex tape, we've all seen it. If you haven't seen the sex tape of Donald Trump with 2 women urinating, you haven't checked the internet. It's out there. And it's real. And we know from Mueller that they definitely blackmailed our president over the sex tape. And that would have been a front row center news item if it was me in America discussing it, but I can't get 1 iota of time on the press. They won't give me a second in the mainstream media because I will bring these issues up. Mueller admitted during the testimony that the sex tape was used, and I'm quoting, the sex tape was used to blackmail the president, comma, but it is not under my purview, period, end quote. Robert Mueller. And there's more than enough evidence this is an ongoing situation where our nation's defenses are compromised by this guy and the strings that Putin has over him. Yeah, Putin was a gangster in his early life. Yep. Yeah, he may have murdered somebody, we don't know. But we know he's called the hits on numerous people, and we know that this has been going on for years. Not really. A sex tape is illegal if it's used as a bargaining chip in extortion against a president. Hell yeah, it's definitely illegal. And it's being used to extort actions and behavior and God knows what else from our president. So if you Republicans could just step aside and let the impeachment process go forward, we will have Mike Pence as a president, and I'll take that over what we got right now. This absolute tweeting banshee of a man who spends all his time attacking messengers and not actually addressing the real substantive issues of the witnesses put out. Claiming it's all perfect, there was no quid pro quo, there was no nothing, but I need a favor. That is, in fact, quid pro quo. He attacks witnesses. He has no audio tapes of any of his encounters with Putin. At best, we have one with a transcript that we might be able to see when they first met. But he's hid all that from us, which implies guilt. And the no IRS tax returns indicates that Donald Trump is afraid that we'll find out that Russia paid his bills for about 15 years. Now, if you can't see cover-up after cover-up from this president, you continue to blindly think that he's just the best guy in the whole world and he's stopping the deep state, then I ask you, has he prosecuted Hillary Clinton once? No. Has he ordered William Barr to investigate Ukraine? No, William Barr wasn't even involved in it. He ordered Giuliani to do that. Has he ordered William Barr to prosecute Joe Biden? Is there a case prosecuting Joe Biden pending right now? Or Hunter Biden? No. Huh. And you say he's going after the deep state. Really? Well, how is he doing that exactly? Trump's lawyer is in jail. That's right, Fishweir. Good point. Yes, Trump is an honorary Muslim. We know that. He joined hands with Prince MBS in a ritual meeting where they became Muslim together. That's true. Trump is a Muslim. Let it be known. And he created the casinos to launder cash for the mob. We all know that. And they all lost money. So he took a tumble on the casinos. Right around the time the casinos went down, there was a helicopter crash a couple days before they were going to testify, his top supervisors. Trump's top supervisors were going to testify, and they didn't because they all died. A copter crash killed 3 of his aides, October 11th, 1989. Five people, including 3 high-level executives at Donald J. Trump's 3 casinos in Atlantic City, were killed yesterday when their helicopter crashed in Pine Woods. Now, I remember that whole thing when it happened. Donald Trump was asked, what do you think? How do you feel about the loss of your friends, your supervisors for your casinos? His response, and I quote, "This is great press." I'm serious. He said, "This is great press." It's a fact. He didn't say, "I'm so sorry about their loss. They were good friends of mine. It's so tragic to see a helicopter go down like this." This is great press. Okay, I remember that. That's real. I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember the whole press item, everything that came on the news. This man, for all we know, was complicit in that crash. We could allege that he was going to be on that plane, that helicopter. And there was a seat available for him, but he said that night that he wasn't going to take that helicopter. He was going to take another one, and he'll meet him there. Consequently, those 3 men did not testify in the in the bankruptcy hearings. And their testimony would have been very important, especially with all the allegations of money maneuvering and laundering that were going on at the time. So we have a lot of dirt on Donald Trump. He's had over 150 indictments. And you Republicans, when he doesn't even pay his own people, he doesn't even pay his own workers. He had 60 Polish people, immigrants, working on one of his buildings in New York. They never got paid. He said he wasn't going to pay them. They never got paid. They built the building and they never got paid. The caterer for Marla Maple's wedding, $350,000 catering budget. Wanted to get paid? Trump said to her, and I quote, "The wedding is your payment." Meaning you do a Trump wedding, people know you do the Trump wedding, you make a lot of money from that. He didn't pay for the caterers. Nobody got paid. The bartenders, nobody serving at that wedding, nobody got paid. And that's the president you have right now, who's made $110 million a year off you, the taxpayer, at his hotels while he's president. How could you possibly trust somebody like that? What's wrong with your brain? Start to focus on your shit detectors, please, because the American people and our future depends on it. And you retardicans have left us with no other resort but to make it very clear to you that you're brain dead if you think Trump is safe for this nation. Great documentary tonight on the vaccination industry and the truth about vaccines. That'll be good. Okay. Proceed. All right. This was a typical drone that could be flying over Colorado at any given time. We don't know if this was an actual military operation, but one person that comes to our show, Med Viral, believes that these drones that were seen over Colorado recently are actually working on testing block-to-block searches to hunt for terrorists. That's his theory. I don't know if that's true, but it's his theory. Wow. I brought this in last night. This is interesting. The Chinese news called thestandnews.com. Somebody gave this to me, and now I can't translate it. There it is. Okay. I'm going to show you something. It's very unusual to see something from China, and it's an actual story about Hong Kong, which is really unusual. I don't know if this paper is sanctioned by the country or not, or if it's official, but it's called thestandnews.com, and it says 2019 is the most miserable year in life. The introduction of the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance in February deeply felt that freedom would be eroded. As a result, Hong Kong people who have been undervalued have exerted unrivaled resilience and adhered to a magnificent social movement. Who would have thought that a group of Hong Kong children blocked bullets for us and sought freedom from fear? Who would have thought that Hong Kong people who have always felt politically cold would be at the forefront of a confronting totalitarianism in the world? Who would have estimated that a movement of adverse powers blossomed everywhere and caused worldwide attention? A group of Hong Kong people who don't know each other are tied together, and the young people who passed away make everyone cry again and again. The inability of the incompetent government has strengthened everyone's determination to take to the streets. Row after row of dead bodies catalyze everyone's determination to take revenge. The unscrupulous black police officers have been arresting, reporting, and abusing violence so that the Hong Kong's former stability is gone forever. And in 2020, it is no longer possible to return to its former calm. Different ideologies recognize the conscience of the people around them. 2014 is a mirror of life, and 2019 is a filter of life. Anyways, this goes on and on about this revival of the Hong Kong revolution of sorts. And I just found it really interesting that it's in a website out of China. I've never seen anything like that. But that's the kind of weird things that pop up. I think the people in China end up seeing things like that in some of the writings, and the government goes, "Oh, we cannot allow this. No," and they want to stop it. Interesting. Anyway, on my stand as official, I don't want China to not honor the treaty. I want them to honor the treaty of self-rule till 2047 for Hong Kong. And they should do that in full detail and do it quickly, because if they don't, the people of Hong Kong will continue to rally in support of their own self-rule. So for Xi Jinping to not take a stand now that makes sense for the people of Hong Kong, it's foolish. I think he needs to rethink his plan. Otherwise, he'll be seeing much more dangerous encounters with even his own people revolting. He needs to at least give Hong Kong time to adjust to the communist way of thinking. I'm not here to represent his country at all, but I just believe that in order to stand up to the situation, he actually has to give in a little bit too. All right. I'm sure he'll make the right decision in the end, hopefully. Okay, so we will find out if Giuliani testifies, if Donald McGahn testifies, the guy that said that Trump tried to fire Mueller 5 times, which is obstruction of justice, no matter how you cut it. Nobody could squeeze out of that one, and this guy already said it once to a Senate subcommittee. He'll say it again. Donald McGahn told the truth, and he should be allowed to testify. Trump cannot hold him back. And the overall assessment on Donald Trump by the Federal Reserve is that he has raised tariffs, raised prices, and he's cut employment and hurt U.S. manufacturing. So if everything's rosy with you, maybe you're Donald Trump's hairstylist. Yeah, but for most Americans, it's not rosy, and Donald Trump's smug look on his face makes you want to puke. This guy thinks he can lie and get anything he wants in this world, and he's really very deceptive. And I think if you understand his mindset, you'll realize that he's basically out for one thing, and that's his own personal growth economically. All right? Donald Trump is about Donald Trump. He doesn't care about our country. He just cares about his contract with the devil. Whether it be Putin or maybe people above Putin, the Zionist elitists that control his funds at Deutsche Bank. Either way, he has to kiss their ass, or he's basically no longer their puppet. Well, Mitch McConnell should allow Giuliani to testify. That's why I think Giuliani should testify. Every time he speaks, he makes things worse. Yes. All the more reason to have him testify. He says he wants to testify. Let him testify. Let Mick Mulvaney, who also has foot and mouth disease, testify as well. Mick Mulvaney is the one that confirmed it was a quid pro quo. Let Mick Mulvaney testify and explain what he meant by that it was quid pro quo. The UN is hiring English-speaking disarmament officers in New York. This is a story that's going full-blown now. Yeah, James Munder has it. We'll take this into our playlist and play it for you tonight. Definitely. We saw the ad soliciting for people to engage in gun control in New York. This guy's going to go into details and talk about it. Excellent. Thank you for the link. over at iBlog, sorry. Tribute to Sandy Hooker legend. Okay, we'll take a look at that tonight. Thank you, Scissor Fight. I'm running a little behind here. I was looking at my iBlog room saying nothing was going on. I realized, oh, I didn't scroll down. That helps. Okay. Well, I certainly, I ironically support Mike Pence's position on Hong Kong. Yeah, it's not like we're going to get any response from the Chinese leaders, but at least we can make our wishes known. And like I said, a trade agreement isn't that important at this point. We can bear the brunt of the cost of trade with China. I'm more than willing to go down that road. Trump started us on that road. I'd be more than glad to walk down that road with him. But Mike Pence, I believe, he made a solid statement against China. And as much as I see him as a potential problem down the road, I still think he's much more conservative than Trump and would probably be a lot more careful with his words than Trump. And if Mike Pence has to be our president, so be it. I'm more than willing to make that transition if it means uniting the country at some point. But I know Democrats don't want this guy. They're convinced that he's definitely out for his agenda of pro-life. And I believe that the whole agenda, the social issue agenda, should sidestep the real issue of jobs and a better environment. Jobs and a better environment, to me, are the key issues, not social issues like you Republicans are pushing. But I'm more than willing to talk about this thing. But unfortunately, this guy doesn't let a lot of his personality out. But I think he'd be better off than Trump, especially in destabilizing our ability to function, because Trump seems to be on a rage all the time on Twitter, and I doubt Mike Pence would even tweet very much. I don't agree with his policies, his social policies. I don't think Mike Pence has a clue about the environment. I also don't think he's pro-individual. He's more pro-corporate. I'm more pro-individual. But I definitely would see him as a better alternative than Donald Trump right now. So if the Republicans wake up and realize that Trump is going to take their party and stick it in a hole for a century, they'd be smart to lose the baggage and take on Pence as their leader if necessary. Although I seriously have questions about Pence's viability and his honesty as well. You know, I'll take the Old Testament foreign policy over. What I liked about Mike Pence is he did stand up to the atrocities being committed by. Yeah, he did stand up to the atrocities being committed by China. And I actually respected his speech Pence made. I didn't think he would move me, but it made sense to me. Yeah, a stump is better than Trump right now. Good point. Trump the stump. It's pretty funny. Reminds me of my Halloween show where I was the stump. Yeah, we had a Halloween show. It was pretty good. The Dave Stump Show. So, as we head toward the dystopian future, I hope we're all prepared to defend ourselves and our families. And I remember the simple fact that if we don't have the right to bear arms, which is our Second Amendment right, we have it. But if the Democrats get their way, they're going to try to take it away. We are the last line of defense against an alien invasion. Every one of you is the last line of defense. Why would we want to get rid of that? And I don't mean just illegal aliens. I mean aliens from outer space. Anything could happen. Why would we want to take away people's arms? And the only answer is to weaken a population so that a tyrannical government could enslave it and eventually get rid of it. Just like Hitler did to the Jews. And I stand against that. No, anarchy is not better than anything at this point. I'll take our government, whatever's left of honesty in it, but I think most of them are on the take. I know my democratically led legislatures in this state of Washington are screwing people left and right and paying out more and more every year without cutting back on the expenses. So I seriously believe there's something wrong. And I also believe that there's a lot of scamming going on by technologists like Elon Musk. You know, he's playing a game. His use of crack cocaine, which is now public knowledge, he's playing a game where he can pretend like he's helping us in the space program, but that guy's a leech. But he is the guy who's running a Tesla corporation, which is a brand new company, and I applaud new innovative people. So it's not like I hate what he's doing. I just would keep a guy like that in check. I wouldn't hand him out NASA contracts left and right like it was some free day to take money from the average American taxpayer. All right, thanks for coming into our show. And Sarah was really loving today. I mean, she had that real loving thing going on. And it's really working for her. It's she really exudes a tremendous amount of care and love for people in our show, and it really makes sense. You know, if you can convert your negative moments into a positive moments, that's pretty funny. Okay, I won't play that now, but that's pretty funny. All right, that's it for me tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with our Freedom Friday show and my new freedom tie that Meta Nemesis gave me. And we'll be on track for another day of broadcasting. I'll be in the show till 1 in the morning, hang out watching movies with you. Take care. Good night.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around, cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.